In Fort Worth. This news also brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. Your next news update is at 2:30. I'm Eric Bushman. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected DFW to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP for the latest on Decision 2024. WBAP salutes Farmersville. Thank you, Farmersville, for listening today to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
This hour on WBAP is brought to you by the Wilhite Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Go to WilhiteWins.com.
That's WilhiteWins.com.
Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Happy Monday. Let's go. Well, the polls have turned around. You're not going to see this trumpeted too much because, it doesn't fit the narrative. But around here, we'll talk about it on WBAP. Nate Silver, he's one of the guys who's known for number crunching, even though he's not a household name. A lot of politicians and media types and academics and whatever put a lot of stock in this guy's predictions because he has an okay record. He got 2016 wrong, but he had Trump winning until Kamala dropped out. And then Kamala surged to a lead and has been there all the way until, what is that, last week? That's my first guess. Raven Harrison's back on the James Show. What is this? Did the interview do her in, or did they just run out of the sugar high from her announcement and the Tim Walz announcement and the convention, and they just ran out of joy?
Well, that could be it. I mean, it's taking a lot of effort to fuel the machine to try to prop her up and make her look good. So I think her honeymoon period is over, statistically and figuratively, and I think that soon the rest of these garbage polls that have her within strike distance, I mean, it's based on absolutely nothing. If you look at the real-time polls of what people think of the economy, the border, she's nowhere in the park. So right now I think we have to just kind of rely on good old-fashioned common sense.
Well, that doesn't mean they're just going to sit back and take an L. Are we concerned about some shenanigans happening in 2020 or in 2024 like happened in 2020? Does it really matter what the polls say if they're going to stop the voting in 5 swing states and stuff the boxes?
Oh, yeah, we were there, and we're on the ground right now trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. But it's going to require people to get out and get complacent. But the biggest fire we have to put out is what's going on right now with President Trump. If they try to put him in jail, while the judge's daughter has defied 2 congressional subpoenas, then we're going to have an all-out civil war, James. So in the meantime, while she's perfecting her ghetto-nese accent in Michigan and these other places, trying to sound, more ridiculous than she is, we got hostages got killed, James, over this. So this woman is dangerous. She's let these people into our country. They have no policy. They have no position. They have no plan unless they ripped it off from Trump. And that's what we have to keep the Americans focused on is right now, if you're better off now than you were 4 years ago, you're probably illegal.
What was that accent again? Did you say ghetto knees?
It's either Hoabic or ghetto-nese. We're not sure, but it's one of the two.
All right, that's good stuff. The other, here's another line of attack. Chris Hayes from MSNBC. He actually retweeted the model from Nate Silver that shows Trump is taking the lead again. And they said it's independent of the model itself, it's as clear as day. The Electoral College is, to quote the great Justice Jackson, a national suicide pact. It's just a dangerous institution that undermines democracy, creates all manner of Rube Goldberg machinery to be attacked by bad actors. Boy, they really don't like the Electoral College, do they?
They really don't, because they want and we are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic, and it's important to remind Democrats of this because they don't seem to read the Constitution often. But what they want is they want New York and California, the pillars of success that they are, to determine who is the president. That would make it a giant popularity contest, and states like Wyoming and Rhode Island would have no representation, but they would pay taxes. So we are not headed to that. But yes, that's exactly what they want, is they want to do away with that so that they can just have New York and California deciding every election going forward. It just cannot be allowed to happen.
Well, it's also put in place for a reason. The founding fathers recognized every democracy collapses when people realize they can vote themselves goodies for the treasury. And so what you have in most of these social programs is people from Team Blue taking taxes from people in Team Red and redistributing it to people in Team Blue. And so that's like exactly what the Electoral College is supposed to prevent. And that's what would happen if we got rid of it.
Well, correct. And then also that's part of the plan of why we've got this mess that we have now, James. That's why we have 20 plus illegals in our country right now that they're trying to give citizenship to. We've seen the executive order where Biden, was saying give these people registration documents. They are not legally allowed to vote in our elections, but they are. And we have proof of that. So that's what the plan was all along, is they are importing 20 million. That's an ironclad majority. If they can get a tenth of those people to vote, that swings an election. So this is the plan of why the border is still open, why the borders are.
Are you going to be watching the debate next week at home?
Oh, we're getting the popcorn. We still have Vegas odds on whether or not she's going to show up because, she might have a hangnail and all the other dumb excuses she's coming up with why she might have to back out. But we are popcorn ready, James.
All right. I think I'm going to go out to, they used to be called the Dallas Jewish Conservatives. Now I think they're the American Jewish Conservatives. They're having a debate watching party. I think I'm about to get roped into that on my 2:30 guest here. I'll invite you, but you can just politely turn it down.
Depends on what the center square is, James.
Okay. Right. Well, that's the freebie. I'm definitely doing the bingo cards again. We already did the call for words too. So I've got to add like joy. I've got to add weird. I've got to add I'm speaking. I've got to add unburdened. Unburdened very well is a great addition to one of the squares. You got any suggestions for the bingo cards?
Yes, Biden stepping back in. There's some really interesting rumors going on. So if you have Biden stepping back in because she is torpedoing the Titanic in real time.
Shut up. Stop. I have not seen this rumor. This is the first time hearing of it. What do I need to know?
I'm just telling you, they know her poll numbers. Disastrous live, quote, edited interview that she did where she was looking at the table of her notes or something. And, now she's tanking and there's rumors of Biden trying to take his spot back.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you very much for your time again, Raven. How do they find your work outside of WBAP?
They can find me at the Roar Mission, theroarpack.com, and ravenharrison.com.
There you go. Thank you, Raven. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, James.
She's so nice. She's good about those rumors, too. I hadn't heard that one, so maybe she's ahead of me on that one, and that's why we like to have her on. Your thoughts so far? The polls have turned around. Looks like Trump has a slight lead. Is this about to just get out of control and he's going to run away with it? Do you still think there's a chance he could lose? Is this debate going to end all doubt? What do you think of Raven's rumor mill that Joe Biden's going to try and fight his way back into the seat? Could he do that? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Audio from the campaign trail next on The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
I'm working for my kids and as early retirement as possible.
I'm working to be rich.
Why do I work? I work because I have to pay for my new house.
Happy Labor Day. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now new on FM at 93.3.
This report is brought to you by North Texas Giving Day.
Communities Foundation of Texas is proud to present North Texas Giving Day. A little goes a long way when North Texans all give at once. Give now through September 19th at northtexasgivingday.org.
Sometimes knowing where to start can be the biggest challenge with regard to planning for retirement. And that's why we've created the Retirement Readiness Mini Kit. This is a complimentary resource that is perfect for anyone that wants to get started and get focused on what's important in planning for retirement. Inside the Retirement Readiness Mini Kit, the 11 biggest mistakes people make before retiring. This is a white paper that contains valuable insight into the most commonly made mistakes that people make in retirement planning. Also, you'll get copies of the most important news stories from the radio program, the latest information on important topics like Social Security, Medicare, and taxes. Also in the kit, a complimentary subscription to the DFW Retirement Planners monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest news regarding planning for success in retirement. To get your retirement readiness mini kit, just go to the website, dfwretirementplanners.com. dfwretirementplanners.com. It's complimentary at the website, dfwretirementplanners.com.
Here's Dan Bongino for Expo Home Improvement.
Dan Bongino here for Expo Home Improvement. August always feels like a fresh start, and what better way to get a fresh start than with a gorgeous bathroom remodel? They can take an outdated bathroom and transform it into a stunning spa-like environment in as little as one day. From sleek modern to updated classic, find the perfect look to fit your taste. And Expo Home will handle every detail from start to finish. No need for you to handle the shuffling of contract. Expo Home Improvement is proud to be locally owned and serving Texans since 2006, and they pride themselves on treating each of their customers like the neighbors they are. They're thrilled to announce that in addition to window replacement, Expo Home now also offers kitchen cabinet refacing, all the benefits of a fresh new look without the expense and hassle of a full remodel. So don't waste another minute. Visit expohomeimprovement.com today to schedule your consultation and take the first step towards the bath, shower, or kitchen of your dreams just in time to enjoy it over the holidays. Expo Home Improvement, improving homes, transforming lives.
Did you know that 1 in 10 couples are affected by CD? Talking to your technician about comfort dysfunction isn't easy, but it's definitely a conversation worth having. 40,000 customers have had their CD talk with Reliant Air Conditioning. When you're ready for yours, visit ReliantAirConditioning.com for helpful conversation starters and to learn how a new Carrier Infinity system from Reliant can help.
Do not call Reliant if you enjoy getting ripped off, as this may cause an unsafe rise in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess with Reliant, as this may increase your chances of hugging the certified technician.
The most common side effects of calling Reliant include quality service, saving up to 56% on your utility bills, and a very satisfied wife. Before calling Reliant, ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for extreme comfort.
In the rare event of comfort dysfunction lasting more than 4 hours, seek immediate relief by calling Reliant Air Conditioning at 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-YOUR-HERO or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
We have some heavier than normal traffic around DFW Airport right now on both north and southbound International Parkway. Might want to give yourself about 5 to 10 extra minutes to get to that flight terminal. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
Brought to you by the law offices of Thomas J. Henry.
Thomas J. Henry Law has more than 2,700 five-star Google reviews from satisfied clients. If you've been injured and need an attorney, don't leave your case to chance. Contact Thomas J. Henry today at tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 in my garage after I overpaid for new blinds. I researched the industry, hired my mom, and 14 years later, we're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
Have something on your mind? Share it here, 24/7. Opinionated talk radio. Keep connected, DFW. News Talk 820, WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey, happy Labor Day from the James Show. What are you? You had to work too? We're not the only losers here at the bottom of the hierarchy that don't get the special days off? No? You too, huh? Well, at least we're on the same team. How's it look? How's the view from the bottom? Don't worry, I'm right down here with you. If you want to jump in on the James Show, 800-288-9227, your thoughts on the election for the first hour of the show. We're going to get some crazy updates on the shooting and the Dallas police officers from last week coming up at 3 o'clock, really 3:05-ish. But I want to, first off, Labor Day, hilarious. This is one of my favorite holidays in the fact that we just America'd right through it. And just take off the A, we America'd right through it. Labor Day, if I remember correctly, Labor Day was started by the people behind the labor movement, which is really just it's a very collectivist ideology, but sort of at the micro, not the macro level. So the same sort of mindset, you know, this sort of socializing, equality of outcomes, redistribution, collective agreements, collective bargaining, collective everything, collectivism. So it was, these union guys and these Marxist guys and these socialist guys, they all kind of share this part. They Venn diagram overlap, to use a Kamala Harris term. Venn diagram, see how I did that? They all love unions and the labor movement and just capital L labor. And so this was Labor Day. This was in honor of the progress that all the unions had made and all the socialists made and the labor movement and the red people and the Team Blue. All of the accomplishments that they have given the American worker. And we turned it into, hey, man, who wants a hot dog? That's what we turned it into. It's like even on Memorial Day, we'll at least say, let's remember while you're out there grilling and stuffing your face and hanging out at the lake, flying flags and whatnot. There's people who died and you're supposed to remember and honor their memory. No one stopped you this weekend and be like, hey, you remember getting the 40-hour work week from the labor unions? Don't forget about that while you're at the park this week. No one said that. Not one person said that, nor should they. It's a ridiculous claim. So we just kind of steamrolled over all that. For the audio I want to bring you from the campaign trail, let's start with something that happened right before the James Show started. That's one of the advantages I have of not being on the morning show. I hate being on the morning show because you have to talk before everything that day happens. You talk about everything that happened yesterday. Well, today some stuff already happened. Kamala Harris is in Detroit, Michigan. It's a campaign event on Labor Day, celebrating a bunch of unions. There's a whole bunch of union people she introduced before she got to the actual intro of her speech. By the way, her in entirety on the podium was 14 minutes on a teleprompter. Anyway, here we go.
President Slevin of the utility workers.
NEA, utility workers.
President Weingarten of the AFT.
Right, auto workers, we got all that. Hang on, this intro, you're going to love it. Here goes.
And thank you to all of the union members who are here this afternoon. So, on Labor Day and every day, we celebrate the dignity of work.
All right, stop. It's not something you can do every day. It's not a celebration. If it's the same thing you do every day, then that's your standard day. It's not a celebration. And not to just be too nitpicky here, but that's how my kids talk. Some get there like, oh man, I never get to go first. No, sometimes you get to go first. Or, oh man, you never say nice things about, yeah, I do sometimes, especially when it's your birthday or when it's a special time. But every day we celebrate. No, you don't. What'd you do yesterday for labor? What are you doing tomorrow for labor? What are you doing on Christmas for labor? Are you going to be celebrating labor on Christmas? Is that what you're going to be doing? You're going to get the family around the table around the Christmas tree and be like, hey, wasn't that great? We got paid time off from the unions. Wasn't that awesome? What about that last collective bargaining agreement? Wasn't that great? No, you're not. So it's just a silly platitude. It's not really that big of a deal. I'm so irritated at this point. Hang on, we'll continue.
The dignity of work. We celebrate unions because unions helped build America, and unions help build America's middle class.
Okay, that's just a nice thing to say. No, they didn't. There's all kinds of industries out there that didn't unionize, and they progressed just fine from the agrarian society that we had at the beginning of the country to the modern information age. Went through the Industrial Revolution, through computers, now in the space age. Most industries didn't need unions to do that. It's a farce to say that the ones that exist were needed. We really need a teachers union? What would happen if we didn't have a teachers union? All the kids would just be running around, I don't know how to read, duh. Well, no, we had literacy before teachers unions ever existed. We had workers' rights before unions ever existed. And really, I don't want you to get it twisted here. I'm not like inherently anti-union. I'm sort of indifferent on unions if they had to play by the same rules as everybody else. The part where I run up against unions is in blue states, they've given themselves special privileges. They have actually intertwined with government against big business, or not even big business. Could be little business, could be medium-sized business, it's any business, because like when we're talking about big corporations like McDonald's or whatever, it's the little franchisees at the end of the totem pole that end up paying for those collective bargaining agreements. Ultimately, the ones that happen, like a Starbucks or whatever. But I'm not anti-union on its own. I like how we treat unions here in Texas. You want to be part of a union? Fine. If you don't want to be part of a union, fine. We're not going to force anybody in a union. And the dastardly part is the whole striking thing. if they strike, then what? The employer can't come in and replace them? Well, that's an unfair advantage. Because in a open market, in a free market, they should be able to do that. Oh, you want to walk off your job? I'll hire someone else to go run that machine for you. And if the employer keeps having to do that over and over, he will acquiesce. He will say, maybe I should pay these guys more. Maybe I should get them better benefits. Maybe I should get them better working conditions. And that's how it naturally goes with or without unions. So unions just swoop in and take the credit. And all they do is get to skim everyone's paycheck, push voters, sell favors, be powerful, watch The Irishman. It's a great example of what unions are really all about. But no, Democrats love unions because it's an organization. It's a vote get out machine. You can reach a whole lot of people through union. It's collectivism. No, you shouldn't vote based on your own specific interests. You're in this union, so therefore you must vote for our team. It's very useful.
It is true across our nation, and it is true here in Detroit. Nearly 140 years ago, in this very city, 10,000 people marched in one of our nation's first Labor Day parades. Many held signs that read, "Divided, we can beg. United, we can demand."
Yeah, y'all don't get to say that. Y'all are constantly dividing. You're constantly pointing out the difference in people's gender and race and ethnicity and background and status, immigration status. You're always dividing up little pieces of the pie and trying to pick them off one by one. You know, if you don't know who to vote for, if you ain't vote for me, you ain't black. They just assume all the gay votes theirs. They just assume all the trans votes theirs. They just assume all the Hispanic votes theirs, all the illegal immigrant votes there, all the women votes theirs. They very much do not see you as an individual, but as a member of a collective. Now, with that little seasoning in mind, I want to go to the Bill Maher episode from Friday, where he's talking about the nicknames that Trump's given his opponents.
Trump seems to have picked his nicknames for the two opponents, Comrade Kamala. I didn't see this. I'm taking this person's word. Tampon Tim. I mean, I don't agree with, but I get Comrade Kamala. I get that's what, you know, she's a communist. But Tampon Tim?
See, now they have to, either they don't know or they're pretending to not know that he signed a bill that puts tampons in the little boys' bathrooms in elementary school. That's why he got the name. It's not just a ad hominem barb he's throwing at him. It's actually a critique of one of the policies that this guy stands behind, something that sets him apart from the normal voter. Most Americans, most voters, I have to think, aren't under the impression that an 8-year-old boy needs a tampon, for free or not, in his bathroom. So either, look, they can't actually address the real reason he got that nickname, or all the people watching, all the people in his audience who are laughing because they don't know either. They would know, wait, that's weird. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Coming up next, Benji Gershon from the American Jewish Conservatives. Ted Cruz is coming to town. He's coming to one of their events this week. We'll tell you the details next on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Head to Mattress Firm's best sale of the year, the Labor Day sale. Get a king bed for a queen price. Save up to $700 plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Are you dreading the idea of dental implants? There's no need to worry. We have Dr. Steve Brown of the Dental Implant Place here in the Metroplex. Dr. Brown is a pioneer in the minimally invasive technique that gives you a beautiful smile, reduces healing time, is much less painful, and in most cases costs less than other dentists in our area. Dr. Brown has placed over 12,000 implants and has trained other dentists throughout the country in this revolutionary technique. Along with a compassionate, experienced staff, the whole team at the Dental Implant Place is ready and able to help you realize your dream smile.
I want to meet with you personally. Minimally invasive techniques, all-inclusive pricing, all in one place, and compassionate care. See the difference for yourself at thedentalimplantplace.com. That's thedentalimplantplace.com. Your new smile is here.
Mention this ad and receive 15% off your total price when starting new treatment in the month of September. Financing excluded.
Did you know that experts from the roofing and insurance industry agree that if your roof is over 7 years old, you need to have it inspected each year by a licensed roofing contractor? Hey, it's James Parker from my friends at Paradigm Roofing. Now, they offer a free, that's right, I said free, 23-point roof inspection for homeowners in the metro and surrounding areas. Their roofing technicians will get on your roof and carefully examine 23 different areas that typically show signs of early roof failure. If they do find issues, most of the time a simple repair gets your roof back up to par and allows you to get the full lifespan out of it. If it is time to replace your roof, the owner, Greg Hiltz, has agreed to give my listeners a $500 discount on a roof replacement right off the top. Look, I get it. No one wants to deal with roofing problems. Catch these minor issues before they become major problems. Schedule your free 23-point roof inspection with Paradigm Roofing today. 972-542-7774. Or schedule your appointment online at ParadigmRoofs.com.
This is Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. I've competed in more than 25 triathlons, but what really gets my heart pumping is helping fellow Texans injured in accidents. I'll go the distance for you. Get your free case review at WilhiteWins.com.
Prior results do not guarantee similar outcome.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus Media Station. Trending now.
Community outreach after the murder of a Dallas police officer. I'm Eric Bushman from the Novak Motors News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
We have a crash in far north Dallas on the westbound side of Spring Valley. It's a little bit before that intersection with Hillcrest near Meandering Way. Expect some extra congestion in both directions. And you also have a slowdown heading out of Denton on northbound I-35. It's about 5 to 10 minutes behind the usual schedule as you approach North Loop 288. With WBAP, first traffic and weather on the ones, I'm Colin Ellis.
Why do so many Texans love Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? We're the #1 Chevy dealership in the world. New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, gotta visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023.
The WBAP forecast, chance of showers and thunderstorms today. Mostly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. It is 89 in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. The Dallas Police Department and the residents of Dallas are rallying around each other after what is being called the execution of Officer Darren Burks in his patrol car late last week. Dallas City Councilwoman Carolyn King Arnold.
We have to do that. All communities, regardless of demographics, we all talk about coming together through the heart and the mind and the body and the soul, which most folks look at that as prayer. At least 95% of the people who are human and sensitive to what we deal with as the ninth largest city. I always say you're never going to get rid of crime totally because you're dealing with human beings.
Funeral services are scheduled for this week for Officer Burks. A visitation and celebration of life will begin at 9 o'clock Saturday morning at Watermark Church in Dallas. Your Money News, hotel workers going on strike.
Unite Here, the union representing 10,000 hotel workers across 24 hotels, are demanding higher wages, fair staffing, and workloads, citing painful working conditions. The strikes, impacting 8 cities for now, have also been authorized in Baltimore, New Haven, Oakland, and Providence. Unite Here is asking guests not to eat, sleep, or meet at any hotel that is on strike until they secure a new contract. Hilton and Hyatt both say they remain committed to negotiating a fair agreement with the union. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
Again, the high today in the upper 80s. It is 89 in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. Your next news update is at 3 o'clock. I'm Eric Bushman. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP for the latest on Decision 2024.
The new NFL season starts this Thursday up in Kansas City. But around here, all the talk is about that game Sunday in Cleveland, where the Browns host the Dallas Cowboys. From our Mullen & Mullen Law Firm Sports Desk, I'm Steve Lamb. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and his quarterback Dak Prescott are still trying to find middle ground on a contract extension. Things reportedly have become strained as both sides continue to speak on the matter publicly. So Prescott's agent, Todd France, and Stephen Jones just need to go in the room, lock the door, and get this deal done. It's Mariachi Monday at Globe Life Field for the Rangers-Yankees game. Although Texas doesn't need any kind of a promotion when New York comes to town. So many Yankee fans living here in North Texas. So they'll have a big crowd tonight, another one Tuesday and Wednesday. But the clock's ticking on Texas as far as making the postseason. And unless the defending World Series champs get real hot and the AL West leading Astros cool off, Houston will win the division again. And at the Paralympic Games in Paris, Great Britain's Jody Grinham made history on Saturday when she took home the bronze in women's individual compound archery. Grinham did it while she's 7 months pregnant. That's your Monday afternoon sports update. I'm Steve Lamb.
Brought to you by DQ.
The DQ $7 meal deal is not complete till you get your treat. Grab yours today. A Hunger Buster Jr., fries, drink, and a sundae, all for just $7. DQ. That's what I like about Texas.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
DFW's only FM news, talk, traffic, and weather station. News Talk 820, WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. You know, I've had these guys on before, but I think it was under their previous name. Now they're all grown up, and instead of being the Dallas Jewish Conservatives, I believe your new group is American Jewish Conservatives. Benji Gershon is on from what I think. Have you officially changed your name, Benji? Benji, you with me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. What's officially your name? Are you Dallas Jewish Conservatives still, or are you American Jewish Conservatives?
Yeah, thank you. We're American Jewish Conservatives now, officially as of a few weeks ago.
That's a heck of an upgrade. You just took on 49 states?
We got a lot of work ahead of us, but we got our big launch party coming up, which we'll talk about, and it's a big undertaking, but we're ready for it.
Okay, so you got Ted Cruz coming to town. When and where is this happening? Because no one cares. No one wants to come see me, but they would love to come see Ted Cruz.
We have Senator Ted Cruz coming. We also have former ICE Director Tom Homan, who served under President Trump. He's coming as well, along with a lot of other congresswomen and congressmen and special guests. It's all taking place on Wednesday, starting at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Frontiers of Flight Museum. And actually, we're sold out. I have a 30-person plus wait list already. We're expecting over 500 plus people. It's a massive event, so we're really... Thank God it's been a great response so far.
Well, maybe you should have got a bigger venue, Benji. That's great to hear. Did you save a seat for myself and producer Garrett?
You guys have a media spot over there, so don't worry.
All right, good deal. All right, so maybe we can't get into this event. I've been to one of your other events. Is it going to be like that? Tell the people what they can expect.
Absolutely. I mean, this event, we're going all out. I mean, there's a silent and live auction. There's live music. It's a full catered gourmet dinner. Obviously incredible speakers and speeches, and lots of other surprises and raffle giveaways. We also have an upcoming debate watch party that's going to be happening on September 10th. You can go to AmericanJewishConservatives.com to learn more about that event and other events we have coming up. And that event's actually going to be featuring Attorney General Ken Paxton. So that's another great event to get your tickets for. And we're expecting a big crowd for that one as well.
Yeah, so... You know, last time we went to a bar and there were a handful of people there and we all played bingo. What if I just brought my bingo cards to your event? Can I weasel my way into that one too? Oh, it's convenient. His phone broke up. Say that again. Your phone broke up for about 4 seconds.
I was just saying that you could weasel into any of my events as long as you're a strong conservative. You align with us on our values and principles. You're a friend of mine, so no worries there. Bring your bingo cards.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. How'd you get Ted Cruz to come to your event? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Cruz family has been family friends of ours for a while now. Rafael Cruz, Pastor Cruz, has been a dear friend, along with several other family members, and so we've just built our relationship over time. And they're strong supporters of Israel and the Jewish people, of course, and arguably, it's one of the strongest conservatives clearly in the Senate. So we're just super honored to have him coming to this event.
Do his parents live around here?
I don't know.
They're like from Houston or something?
Raphael is local. But yeah, they have a lot of family in Houston too.
Very
They're a
cool.
great family.
All right, no more fun stuff here. This is kind of heartbreaking. We had the story about the hostages that were found in the Gaza Strip, and this I think is a big setback. Any family who has been waiting this long, what has it been, 10 months now, for their kid to come home only to lose them after all this? They've got to be fuming over there. This really has to be a setback for peace in the area.
What the families are going through, it's absolutely heartbreaking, and our prayers and our thoughts go out to all the families affected. But sadly, I don't think the news is going to get any better in regards to some of these hostage scenarios that we're hearing about after this many months, almost a year since October 7th. And we just got to keep them in our hearts and our prayers. But, this peace deal, that's not going to happen until we get a Trump administration in the White House. There's no chance, I don't think, at this point of a peace deal. And you see the turmoil just getting worse and worse across the region over there. So I wish I had better news, but I don't. It's kind of doom and gloom right now. But I think we just need a different person in the White House before that can have a chance of happening.
Well, and it's also there was an American in these 6 people, and there's been a lot of Americans who have been rolled up in this, whether they've died, been taken hostage, injured, just scared out of their pants, traumatized. The overlap is very real between the Jewish community over there and here. It's not like a separate entity.
No, it's not. And people need to understand this is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on American values too. I mean, you look at what's happening with regards to anti-Semitism and the protests that we're seeing, the death chants, death to America, death to Israel, the calls that we're seeing of Intifada revolution, the Hamas flags we're seeing outside of the recent RNC convention. I mean, this is much bigger than just Israel. We have an attack on our Judeo-Christian values, and we have attack on people that are people of faith that believe in God. So I think that people need to stay vigilant and be get more in tune into what's really happening across our country as well.
Well, and you see it happening on the big level. There are people who are far more well known than I am, like a Michael Rappaport, or I can name about 10 other celebrities that have really woken up in the last year and saw who's really on their side and who's not.
No, totally. I mean, as long as you don't only tune into CNN and MSDNC, you're better off that way. You got to look at other alternative sources of media, and I think the conservative media obviously has covered it very well. But there's so much fake news out there, and there's so much happening, for instance, on places like Twitter and TikTok, that misinformation is just rampant on there. And people need to kind of be able to parse out what's real and what's not. But you got to go directly to the sources sometimes and hear it from people that are on the ground in Israel that are experiencing these tragedies. And sadly, that's what we have to do to make sure we don't forget about them.
Okay, so your event this week with Ted Cruz already full with the waiting list, so don't get too excited about it. But you can hang out with us next week, Tuesday, September 10th, for the debate watching party. Where is Look Dine-In Cinemas?
So Look Cinemas is in near Northwest Highway, Technology Boulevard. So yeah, there's VIP tickets available. There'll actually be a photo opportunity with AG Ken Paxton, as well as popcorn included with that, and better seating if you want VIP tickets, or you can get general admission. That's fine too. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic time with a lot of other fun giveaways and Trump giveaways and things like that. So
right,
don't miss out. Yeah,
and you're not going to hurt my feelings. It happened at WeatherCon. People come up, hey, can I take a picture? And I say sure, and then I take a picture of them with Hal J. So you're like a They don't want to take a picture with me. Isn't that sad? And everybody would sit down and say, oh, no, I'm just kidding. Play it.
Right.
Benji, the new website, AmericanJewishConservatives.com. Thank you for being on the James Show.
Thank you so much, sir.
Look at that. 2 big events. Ted Cruz this week, Ken Paxton next week, along with the debate. I'm going to be there with the debate bingo cards on September 10th. This isn't an official station event or anything. This is just me shoehorning my way in, pretending like I have friends. AmericanJewishConservatives.com. Your thoughts, 800-288-9227. We'll continue with election 2024 updates next on The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Coming up Tuesday morning at 6:17 on WBAP, our cool down continues with more rain chances back in the forecast. And is the heat finally over?
And at 7:47, why are more Americans having to work longer, putting off retirement? We will talk with a financial expert on how you can keep that from happening.
I'm Ernie Brown.
I'm Carla Mary, and Monty Cook has your traffic on the ones. Chief Meteorologist Brad Barton with your forecast. Steve Lamb with sports. And Nicole Osei has your news updates at the top and bottom of each hour, along with your money news. And Hal J keeps us laughing.
It's all on Tuesday's WBAP Morning News, 5 till 9 on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
If you were hurt in a crash, it's important to act fast. Instead of haggling with insurance, just call Thomas J. Henry. Remember, the call is free and you don't pay us any fees unless we win your case. Contact Thomas J. Henry today, San Antonio, Texas.
Mecum Auctions returns to the Dallas Convention Center September 4th through 7th with 1,500 muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, trucks, hot rods, customs, and more. Get a registration and spectator tickets at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Are you paying attention? Look at all the world, national, and local events that could impact your retirement portfolio. Is your financial advisor adjusting as needed?
Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital and host of the Know Your Risk Radio podcast.
Our analysts track current events closely so we can adjust to market risks every day to help shield your portfolio as much as possible. Risk management is Bulwark's #1 focus because you only get one retirement.
Learn about Bulwark's risk management strategy in their free Common Sense Investing Guide. Get yours now. Call 866-779-RISK or go to knowyourriskradio.com. That's knowyourriskradio.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.
We had some road work pop up in southeast Fort Worth on I-20 westbound. Well, it's really on the exit ramp to northbound East Loop 820. The ramp remains open, but they have blocked off one of the lanes. Your stop and go back from 287, it's about a 15-minute delay. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
Brought to you by Cars for Kids with a K.
Cars for Kids. No more stressing over your old vehicle. Donate it today and get it picked up tomorrow. It's the easiest service out there. Donate online at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
From the Airco AC Heating and Plumbing Studio, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. We are going into the home stretch, 64 days until election 2024. And we're about to get a new president. No matter what happens with this election, it looks like Kamala or Trump, there'll be a new president. I realize she's in office now, but she's not president. I did like Raven earlier with her theory that Joe Biden may try and weasel his way back in. I hope he does, because there's no way he can. It would just create chaos. Dude, we were looking at him before the show. We were doing some show prep, and this guy is like deteriorating by the minute, man. He is so, because Garrett made the comment. He's like, man, he looked bad in 2020. I can't believe they even tried to run him now. He looks so bad. Yeah, he's not going to be alive in 4 years. Not that I delight in that, or I think it's funny, or they take what he has coming. No, he just looks like he's on his last legs, man. He looks almost like the Crypt Keeper at this point. And that on a long enough time scale, that's what I'm going to look like. When I'm 91 years old, you think I look a little busted up now? Waiting another 50 years, or less than 50 years. Who am I kidding? But yeah, go ahead, try and weasel your way back in. There's no way he can get back in. I would just like to see the effort. But a lot is being done, and you're witnessing sort of the conditioning of the American people, the attempted conditioning of the American people from the media, and trying to build this new character up of Kamala. And if you have any good comparison on what's going on here, it's what you saw in 2007 and 2008. A relative newcomer, someone who had 2 years of experience in the Senate. That's really the only big voting record you have to go on. And it's an empty suit. It's something where you can't do this to like a Nancy Pelosi. You can't do this to a Chuck Schumer. They have too much stink on them. They have too much of a record on them. They have too many sound bites of them saying the opposite things they need to say to win. They're so not cool and hip and young and fun and laughy, joyful. Some of them are downright weird. But this is one reason why a guy like a Harry Reid never got any further than the president of the Senate. Because once they really know who you are and you stand for, you lose. Go look at the polls on the issues. When Trump is winning in immigration, Trump is winning in the economy, and Trump is winning in foreign policy, and Trump is winning in the 9 of the top 10 issues that voters are concerned about. But it's a neck and neck race. This is why this performative stuff works. And so the best example is this attempt, and man, they've kind of almost succeeded with it, to turn Kamala Harris from the border czar into not the border czar. Remember, she was the border czar. We have them on tape. We have them on video saying it over and over and over and over and over.
Border czar. Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that keeps going on. And then here's the not border czar montage. I can make one of them saying she is,
unquote,
one
border
not.
czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
She was not appointed the border czar. She was appointed to deal with the Northern Triangle. What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
People gonna have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
All right, now let's get an example of how this works in real time. Now, I am pulling this for you because I assume you don't watch a lot of CNN and you don't watch a lot of MSNBC, but you do need to know what they're thinking. You do need to know what they're saying. If you're going to go out there and you're going to try and convince people and convert people and have dialogue with people and understand your neighbor and understand why the wacky person that's flying the different flag across the street thinks the way they do, you have to start consuming some of the information that they see exclusively If you listen to this show, you're far more informed than anyone on CNN or MSNBC or any listener to CNN or MSNBC. But this is a great example. Carolyn Levitt, she's a spokesman for the Trump campaign. You've heard her on the James Show 5-6 times already. She was on with John Berman from CNN, and he stops and corrects her 3 times on this border czar thing. Like, is it really even that big of a deal if she got it wrong? But they are really running from this, which lets you know it's effective.
How do you explain now that Vice President Harris is seen as perhaps the candidate of change?
Oh my God. First off, I forgot how obviously biased his questions are. He's talking to a Trump spokesman. How do you explain how awesome your opponent is? How do you explain how the incumbent is the candidate of change? Like, he's just starting out in fantasy world. I forgot how frustrating that was. Anyway, I won't interrupt it this time. Anyway.
How do you explain now that Vice President Harris is seen as perhaps the candidate of change?
Well, thank you so much for having me, John. And it is our goal over the next several weeks ahead of Election Day to ensure that voters understand Kamala Harris is not the candidate of change, nor is she the candidate of the future. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the United States now, and she is wholly responsible for the failures over the past 4 years. Kamala Harris said she was proud of Bidenomics, which has ushered the worst inflation crisis in a generation. Kamala Harris was named the border czar and has allowed an open border policy of more than 11 million illegal people into our country that has caused a migrant crime epidemic across our nation as well. Kamala Harris does not deserve a promotion. She deserves a demotion. And unlike Kamala Harris, President Trump has a strong record in his first term as president where he secured the border, unleashed the might of our energy industry, ushered peace around this world. And that's our case to make to voters across the country.
All right. Now, she just went through on policy platforms. She didn't attack Kamala Harris saying she's ugly, she has a funny laugh, or she smells like onion sauce. She said stuff about the economy, about inflation, about foreign policy, about energy production, oil drilling and whatnot. And what does he come back with?
There's more domestic energy production right now than there's ever been in U.S. history, and Kamala Harris was not the border czar. She was appointed to deal with the Northern Triangle. But let me...
Yes. So he's not interviewing her. He's debating her. He's rebuffing her. He's going through and picking out some things and then trying to correct the record. Does he do that to politicians or guests that he agrees with? Do they get the same? Dude, she could have said something about Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, and he wouldn't have corrected that. He only corrects the politically expedient stuff. But then at the end of the interview, he does it again. Let me play just the very, very end here.
And you brought up Donald Trump's age, so I do want to mention it. This race is not about age, it's about competence. And President Trump has proven to be a leader who can bring stability back to this world, who can bring peace through this world, who can make America strong again. And that's why voters trust him on the issues that matter.
She was not appointed the border czar. She was appointed to deal with the Northern Triangle. You say Donald Trump is the candidate.
He did it 3 times in that interview, corrected. We get it. You don't think she was the border czar. We get it. We got it. Oh, my goodness. All right, coming up next, we have a Dallas media legend, Jean-Jacques Taylor. Oh, we're doing a sports segment? No, we're not doing a sports segment. Apparently, he's done some inside work on the shooting of the Dallas police officers last week, and you'll hear about that coming up in, 7-8 minutes on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Are you dreading the idea of dental implants? There's no need to worry. We have Dr. Steve Brown of the Dental Implant Place here in the Metroplex. Dr. Brown is a pioneer in the minimally invasive technique that gives you a beautiful smile, reduces healing time, is much less painful, and in most cases, costs less than other dentists in our area. Dr. Brown has placed over 12,000 implants and has trained other dentists throughout the country in this revolutionary technique. Along with a compassionate, experienced staff, the whole team at the Dental Implant Place is ready and able to help you realize your dream smile.
I want to meet with you personally. Minimally invasive techniques, all-inclusive pricing, all in one place, and compassionate care. See the difference for yourself at thedentalimplantplace.com. That's thedentalimplantplace.com. Your new smile is here.
Mention this ad and receive 15% off your total price when starting new treatment in the month of September. Financing excluded.
Hi there, it's Pete Thompson with a question. Is your retirement nest egg prepared for the tax bomb that is about to hit retirees in 2023? Learn more this weekend on DFW Retirement Radio, Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., right here on WBAP.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Rodeo tickets for the 2025 Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo go on sale Monday, September 9th at 10 a.m. Don't miss Fort Worth's most fun and exciting rodeo experience in Dickies Arena. Go to FWSSR.com for more information. Brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, North Texas Chevy Dealers, Dickies, Texas Health, Simmons Bank, and Reliant. The Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. This thing is legendary.
Here's Dan Bongino for Expo Home Improvement.
Dan Bongino here for Expo Home Improvement. August always feels like a fresh start, and what better way to get a fresh start than with a gorgeous bathroom remodel? They can take an outdated bathroom and transform it into a stunning spa-like environment in as little as one day. From sleek modern to updated classic, find the perfect look to fit your taste. And Expo Home will handle every detail from start to finish. No need for you to handle the shuffling the contract. Expo Home Improvement is proud to be locally owned and serving Texans since 2006, and they pride themselves on treating each of their customers like the neighbors they are. They're thrilled to announce that in addition to window replacement, Expo Home now also offers kitchen cabinet refacing, all the benefits of a fresh new look without the expense and hassle of a full remodel. So don't waste another minute. Visit expohomeimprovement.com today to schedule your consultation and take the first step towards the bath, shower, or kitchen of your dreams just in time to enjoy it over the holidays. Expo Home Improvement, improving homes, transforming lives.
Are you ready for hard-hitting observations?
That is a very common sense message.
The Ben Shapiro Show brings you all the news you need to know in America today.
But where are the journalists? Where are they?
Ben breaks down the culture and never gives an inch.
The American people are owed some answers to questions before we select the next president of the United States. Are we not?
The Ben Shapiro Show.
The answer was there all along.
On YouTube or wherever you listen.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP AM, Fort Worth, Dallas. 93.3 WBAP FM, Haltom City, Dallas. And 99.5 KPLX FM HD2, Fort Worth, Dallas.
Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus Media Station.
Trending now.
Dallas police released video of a confrontation with a man who killed an officer. I'm Eric Bushman from the Novak Motors News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
Still have about a 20 to 30 minute delay heading into Fort Worth on I-20 westbound. They have part of the exit ramp blocked off to East Loop 820 because of some road maintenance. You're stop and go back from Green Oaks. There's a new crash heading into Arlington on northbound 287. It's blocking the left lane and some of the entrance ramp at Kennedale Sublet. Expect to see some extra brake lights as you approach. With WBAP, first traffic and weather on the ones, I'm Colin Ellis.
Why do so many Texans love Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? We're the #1 Chevy dealership in the world. New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, gotta visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023.
Plenty warm and humid for the balance of the week, although not near as hot as recently, and there will be some rain chances in the offing every once in a while. A few widely scattered storms the rest of your Labor Day, a high up near 90. Some scattered storms early tonight, then mostly cloudy, low 72. Cooler Tuesday, still warm and humid though, 83 the high with a few scattered storms. Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you. For WBAP News, my meteorologist Mark Thibodeau at the Weather Channel.
89 degrees in Dallas, 88 in Fort Worth. This news brought to you by the Wilhite Law Firm. Following the shooting death of Officer Darren Burks, Dallas police are releasing video footage of the late-night showdown with his killer. After executing Burks and shooting two other officers, Corey Cobb Bay led police on a high-speed chase that ended in Louisville along I-35E.
Felony stop, guys. Did felony stop.
got the door coming open. Use caution. He's looking back, still in the car, coming out with a weapon.
After being ordered numerous times to drop the shotgun, Cobb Bay pointed his weapon at police. 6 patrol officers opened fire on the suspect, killing him. Police have determined that Cobb Bay's killing of Officer Burks was premeditated. On the White House lawn, about to depart to Pittsburgh for a campaign event with Vice President Kamala Harris today, President Joe Biden was stopped by reporters after he recently called on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to do more to secure a ceasefire and hostage deal with Hamas.
We're still in negotiations, not with him, with my colleagues from Qatar and from Egypt.
The president was brief and didn't answer questions about demonstrations in Israel that started after 6 hostages in Hamas captivity were murdered on Saturday. Your money news: for the first time in its nearly 90-year history, Volkswagen is considering closing factories in its home country.
One of the world's largest automakers is considering plant closures in Germany due to its cost cuts associated with rising electric vehicle competition from China. Volkswagen Group CEO Oliver Bloom says, quote, "The European automotive industry is in a very demanding and serious situation," close quote. Before Volkswagen leadership would axe factories, they say they would attempt to terminate a 1994 labor union employment protection agreement in a cost-saving measure. Mike Trena, WBAP News.
Again, the high today in the upper 80s. It is 89 in Dallas, 88 in Fort Worth. This news also brought to you by Mueller, Inc. Your next news update is at 3:30. I'm Eric Bushman. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP for the latest on Decision 2024. WBAP salutes Highland Park. Thank you, Highland Park, for listening today to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
This hour on WBAP is brought to you by the Wilhite Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Go to WilhiteWins.com.
That's WilhiteWins.com.
Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I know you're stuck going to work like a normal day on Labor Day. So am I. So we'll just go through it together. Oh, man. I don't like talking about stuff like this because it's not fun. But it's serious. It's real. It's part of the job. You need to know more about it. And it doesn't need to be ignored. That's for damn sure. And so the most disturbing story to come out of last week, maybe even the whole year thus far, is the shooting of the Dallas cops. Looked like an ambush. We don't have a whole lot of info on the motive that I've seen, and I've tried to look before the show to see if there's any real updates on it. 2 cops, beside that, were also injured. I believe one got released today, one still in the hospital in critical condition. So for some of us, this isn't over yet. There's still a Dallas policeman that's not out of the woods yet. So Jean-Jacques Taylor's coming on the James Show. Now, I'm super excited to talk to him because this guy is a sports media legend. I can't think of worse circumstances by which to meet you. So welcome to the James Show, Jean-Jacques Taylor, for the worst intro you've probably had.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
All right, so tell me more about this policeman that was shot. Do I get this straight? You knew him?
No, I didn't know him, but I find it interesting that I try to mentor young journalists here or there, and I was having a meeting with a guy, and we had a good lunch named Ron Murray, and after the office, so I'm like everybody else looking at Facebook and reading all the social media and reading the paper and stuff after the incident. And he puts on there that, prayers up to my college roommate. And so I hit him up. I said, "That guy was your college roommate?" He's like, "Yeah, he's one of the best people I ever knew." And it was just wild that occurred. And then, on another tip, I had a meeting with the guys who run Fort Oak Cliff for about an hour on Friday, trying to figure out some things we could do in the community. And to figure out that, they were kind of a part of the story, too, was just kind of wild. But, it's funny how your lives interconnect, and it really is a smaller place than you know, because it turns out I know several people that know Darren really very well. And, it's rare that it's not that you're looking for people to say bad things about anybody, but it's rare that you can find somebody where really people only have glowing things to say about him and what he meant to that community.
I know, like you go and you look at the past of a cop that's been shot and you're like, I hope it's like a crooked cop, like this is Serpico or something. And turns out he's a great guy. He mentored kids through the Texas Can Academies. He used to be in education, and now he wants to be a policeman. And he's kind of like me. He's just from the forest out east here. He's from Arkansas. I'm from East Texas. And so, we come to the big city and, we want to get out of the woods and just be a part of the real world. And you come here and you see problems and you want to make a difference. And, you love being in a big town like this. And man, if I could just be a part of making it better, that seemed to be what his life was all about. And this is the guy that gets ambushed, really.
And I think you make a great point there because, we all talk about what we'd like to see done in our community. But very few of us, if we're going to keep it real, are willing to actually stop what we're doing and really get down in the community and make a difference at a grassroots level where you're shaping kids' lives and trying to make them, contributors to society. So to go from mentoring kids at Dallas Can to then go to, say, and teaching them at Dallas Can Academy, and then to go, say, take the next step, which is, you know what, I can even do more work and better work if I'm part of the police department, and kind of forge that relationship between the community and the police department where we know distrust and mistrust exists. Well, that's a special kind of dude right there, man.
Agreed. It's so sad, and you have, you said the college roommate, is that from the Paul Quinn college days?
Yeah, and the interesting thing that my friend was telling me the story of, because I asked him, I said, are you a Q, which is a Omega Psi Phi fraternity? And he said, no. I said, he's actually an Alpha, and they're rival fraternities amongst the Divine Nine, which is the 9 black sororities and fraternities, that you can find on college campuses. But so they were opposite frats, but he goes, at Paul Quinn, the school was so small and the university was so tight that he helped him through the pledging process, which can be extremely difficult from time to time. But he helped him through the process, told him kind of the things to expect and, not to get discouraged if it got a little hard because it would end up making him a better man. So even the fact that he was helping a fellow frat who wasn't part of his fraternity get through it, gives you a little insight into what kind of cat he was.
Right, and I went through his Facebook page, and he didn't just go through the fraternity process and make some friends and some networks and then move on. He's been working with these guys. He shows up at their events. I saw him posting stuff from his fraternity fundraisers from like last year, the year before. So here it is 25 years later, and he's still, providing that ladder up to the people behind him. And it's like, God, how great can this guy be?
Well, let me tell you about this. In the African-American community, fraternities and sororities are not this is what I do in college and then I forget about them once I graduate. They are really lifelong endeavors and you forge lifelong relationships and friendships, and they have events on a regular basis and they have meetings on a regular basis. And it's something that you're really committed to, much like people are committed to their church or whatever. And so it's a brotherhood. And it's more than just what you do during your 4 or 5, or in my case, 6 years while you're in college. It's something much deeper than that. And that's why you see so much of the outpouring from the Qs and the Omega Psi Phi community and the rest of the fraternities and sororities, because there's a closeness and togetherness that comes if you're a part of that.
Which one were you?
None.
You're not in the Big Nine?
What's that?
You're not in one of the Big Nine?
Divine Nine.
Divine Nine. Oh, I'm sorry. Divine Nine.
But but I was a little different. But my mother was a AKA like Kamala Harris. My father was a Alpha like Martin Luther King, and so they would claim that that's the perfect union, an Alpha and an AKA, and the Qs and the Deltas would disagree. But I was really focused. When I got to college, I was literally had game planned my life in school and what I wanted to accomplish in sports and as a sports writer. And I was kind of headstrong and like, I want to do this and I don't have any time for anything outside of the occasional beautiful woman to keep me focused on my sports and what I wanted to do with an opportunity to cover the Buckeyes.
Well, what are you doing today? I remember you as writing for the paper for like a couple decades, but are you still there? Or you moved on, I think.
No, I'm president of the JJT Media Group. I wrote a book on Deion Sanders in his first year at Jackson State that came out last October. Working on another project about Troy Aikman right now, and do some marketing and some public relations and some other stuff as part of my company.
And I read Deion Sanders' biography in like college, I think it was. It came out in the 90s or something. He wrote a quick autobiography. Oh, man, I need to check that out. Jean-Jacques Taylor, thank you very much for being on the James Show and saying some nice things about a guy who definitely sounds like he deserved it.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Take care.
Man, heartbreaking stuff. And let me throw out the website because they're raising money for the family, atodallas.org, atodallas.org. I know it sounds like, oh, I wish I could do something. Money's something. Money counts. $10 counts. $20 counts. $100 counts. atodallas.org. Let's put a little attention on this because we're all going to be moving on with our lives in a few months, and this is your one chance to donate now, because I know you're not going to think about this in 3-4 years from now and be like, oh, I hope that family's okay. Let's do it now. atodallas.org. All right, sad stuff. Any comments? Did you know the guy? Did you know anything about the guy? Any reactions to Jean-Jacques Taylor? We didn't even ask him about football. That's weird. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. We'll come back with a little more info on this story on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
The first and possibly only presidential debate, Tuesday, September 10th, with coverage starting at 7 p.m. from Fox News Radio.
Shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I'll get it settled very fast.
As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law.
Keep connected, DFW. News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now new on FM at 93.3.
In the wake of the recent storms, the residential metal roofing professionals at Mueller Inc. stand with the neighbors as we begin to rebuild together. Hi, everybody. Hal J. here. Before you replace the roof on your home, be sure to consider all of your options, especially those that can help prevent roof damage in the future. Residential metal roofing from Mueller offers outstanding protection against Mother Nature. When installed to specifications, their roofing is designed to withstand winds up to an excess of 100 miles per hour. Plus, Mueller offers a wide selection of colors to give you the beautiful look you want for your home. When you choose Mueller, they will be with you every step of the way, from design to manufacturing to delivery. And they back the products with limited warranties of up to 30 years and over 85 years of experience. Call 877-2-MUELLER or online at MUELLERINC, MuellerInc.com. Be sure to tell them Hal J said to call.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Remember, that's Cars with a K.
It's not something we think about all the time, but did you know that growing tree roots, either in your front yard or backyard or off to the side of the house, those could be causing nagging drain issues? Call Benjamin Franklin Plumbing today and get ahead of what could be a very expensive repair. Right now, you can save $120 with their summer drain cleaning special. Call to schedule yours today for just $79. Joe, their licensed plumber, by the way, they're all licensed, drug tested, background checked. He was extremely knowledgeable and knew exactly what he was talking about. Put our minds at ease. And the women who own Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, they're experts in their field, and they know that opening your home to a contractor does require a lot of trust. Randy from Mansfield writes, Ben Franklin Plumbing serviceman Lance came out and worked on our shower and hot water heater. We found his work excellent, timely, and would highly recommend him and his company. And don't forget, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing is the punctual plumber, and they will pay you $5 for every minute they're late, because if there's any delay, it's you they pay. Call Benjamin Franklin Plumbing today at 866-4-BEN-NOW. Again, that's 866-4-BEN-NOW.
They cleared up the road work that was on the connector ramp from I-20 westbound to East Loop 820. The jam has just about unwound, but still expect a little bit of extra congestion through the area. Still dealing with a crash heading into Arlington on northbound 287, just a little bit after Kennedale Sublet. It's blocking the left lane, adding about 15 to 20 extra minutes from Eden Road. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
Brought to you by Men's Edge Medical. Men's Edge Medical is in the heart of Dallas at Elf and Preston and so easy to get to. Call Raul or one of the other fantastic staff members at Men's Edge today for a confidential, safe, and comfortable appointment. Call 972-996-0900.
DFW's most listened to news, traffic, and weather station.
News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Coming up in about 15, 16, 17 minutes, we're going to play Dead or Alive for 2 tickets to see Green Day, the Saviors Tour. That's coming to Globe Life Field September 11th. Special guests Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. You can get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Or you can try and win some in the next segment with Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive is a super easy game. It's one of our 2 game shows. This one, I named 10 celebrities. You have to guess if they're dead or alive, which makes it so easy, even if you don't know who the person is. You have a 50-50 shot. There's only 2 answers. It's not even multiple choice. There's 2. It's binary. But I had a guy send me a note on Facebook. Why are you giving away tickets to see Green Day, those anti-America hating bigots? And I had to write back, bro, if I'm only allowed to give away tickets to people I politically disagree with, we wouldn't have a whole lot of tickets to give away. I can only give away so many tickets to see, what, Ted Nugent? I think Muse is a band that's sort of libertarian-ish, although I don't think anyone's ever nailed down their political ideology before. There's only like 4 bands that agree with me. And on the list is the Smashing Pumpkins. Billy Corgan probably agrees with you politically. Is that not good enough? Does everybody on the bill have to agree with you before it's okay, before I'm allowed to give away tickets? No, I know it's not that big of a deal. I just like having fun with people. It's like, man, I have no problem separating the art from the artist. I'll go see a band called James Parker's an Idiot if I like their music enough. Really, I don't make a distinction there. But back to this the sad news about the Dallas police shooting that happened last week. Man, that audio that Bushman was playing on the news, the little audio clip, hits you right in the feels, doesn't it? It's different when you read about someone getting shot. Oh, he got stopped on the freeway. He pulled out looks like a shotgun to the cops, and they returned fire. And it's different when you hear it. It's different especially if there's video, when you see it. I've tried to make a conscious effort to stop watching videos where human beings lose their life. I think I got desensitized to it for a while, and I don't want to. And it's the same thing when you hear that gun go off. It's just and you've heard different iterations of that. And it could be, look, like I could even pull it and play it later and it doesn't have the same effect. When you hear it in that setting from that tape, you're like, you just heard another human being lose their life. And for most people, that's one of your biggest fears, dying. No, nobody wants to die. That's one of the things that bothers us in talking about this is it makes us contemplate our own mortality in some way. It's something that is waiting for all of us, and none of us want to go through it. So that's some heartbreaking stuff. The other thing that bothers me about this is, are we ever going to talk about this guy again? After this goes out the news cycle, it may pop back up on like a 1-year anniversary or something. But the guy that shot him's dead. So even the normal reminders that we have where, so-and-so got arrested, the guy that murdered the cop, he got arraigned today, or he's going to trial now, or the jury's about to read his verdict. Then there's the sentencing phase, and then he actually has to go to jail. And then like 15 years from now, he could be up for parole, and that could be a new story again. But this is one of those that's just going to get shut off. And those of you who have family, close friends that are cops, if you're adjacent to this community, that's one of the painful parts about it. They'll have a big procession for him. There'll be a big funeral. There'll be a bunch of flags. There'll be a bunch of news coverage. But where are all these people going to be when his kids need to go to college? Where are all these people going to be when his wife needs a husband? You know, and it's not that we're bad people or it's a flaw in society. It's just we can't constantly remember and mourn important people every day for the rest of our lives. It would be overwhelming. We don't have enough hours in the day. But that happened. I had a producer on a previous iteration of the James Show. His dad was murdered. And it was one of the things that kind of converted him. He was sort of an anti-cop, just not necessarily hating cops, just a regular lefty. And no one blocked the highway when he was black. And no one blocked the highway when his dad got murdered. No one had a protest. There wasn't a big funeral. It wasn't in a gold casket pulled by a horse with the streets line. There was no news coverage of his funeral. No one cared about Chris's dad. But if I had killed Chris's dad, you'd be hearing about it constantly. If James Parker, evil, white, conservative, Christian radio host, that would have fit the narrative so great. You'd have heard about it all day, every day. And what does that mean? If the victim is only talked about, if it fits the narrative, then you're not supporting victims when you do that. You're exploiting the suffering of the families of that victim for political gain. It's really ugly. This is the guy that deserves to have the golden casket. This is the guy that deserves the news coverage. Not a George Floyd. Not a Michael Brown. Not a Freddie Gray. I think Jacob Blake lived, so that doesn't really count. But I think that's what I find most frustrating about this situation. This is a good dude. This is the guy that should have murals on walls all over the downtowns of random metropolitan areas in America. But no, who do we have up there? George Floyd. We should be blocking a highway for this guy. I've never wanted to block a highway before. I kind of want to just to make a point. No, these are the people you block off for. These are the people who you want the media to focus on. No, they just wanted you to block the highways where it drove us apart, where it made one community suspicious of the other community, where it made one community not like the other community just a little bit less, something that comes between us, something that puts some bricks in the wall between the two communities. Those are the ones that get highlighted. That sucks. I don't live by that standard. I don't choose my stories like that. WBAP doesn't choose their stories like that. They never have. That's why I'm excited to work here. That's why this is the dream. This is where I wanted to end up. It's not the biggest outlet. It's not the one that's going to make me the most money, but at least I get to be honest and not follow that nasty pattern of only highlighting stories when it divides communities. Because this is a hero. This is a guy that deserves the hero treatment that this other guy got and didn't deserve. And I think that's what bothers me the most about this whole story. Remember the name Fortson? I bet you don't, and that's okay. It's another guy like this. It's another guy like our hero that we lost. That's the guy in the Florida Panhandle. He was the Air Force guy. He was active duty Air Force. Cops were responding to a domestic violence call in an apartment. They knocked on the wrong door. He answers with a gun in his hand, and the cop just shoots him. Here you have a story. This is the scenario you would think would catapult it into national coverage. It's a white cop shooting a black guy who's not doing anything wrong. In fact, he's not even a criminal. He's not running from a crime, not in the commission of a crime, not peeking on windows, not strong-arming, robbing a convenience store. He's one of the good guys. He's an active duty military. He's in the Air Force. He's allowed to have a gun. He knows what to do with the gun. He's not only trustworthy enough to have a gun, we gave him one as the taxpayers. He gets shot. Why doesn't that get highlighted? It doesn't divide us. The communities would agree on this one. Yeah, that's a bad shot. That guy needs to go to jail. And you would see, hey, maybe we can call balls and strikes. Maybe we aren't being unfair in these other situations. No, they only highlight the ones that divide us. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. We're going to play Dead or Alive. If you want 2 tickets to see Green Day, go ahead and call. We'll get you lined up, and we can play Dead or Alive and give them away next. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Shane Mullen with Mullen & Mullen Injury Law Firm. If you're injured or you've lost a loved one due to someone else's negligence, it's important to hire a law firm with consistent top results. Mullen & Mullen's been recognized by Top Verdict in recent years for obtaining top 10 and top 20 results. Last year, we had 23 of the top 100 pre-suit settlements in the entire state of Texas. Call now for a free consultation, 214-INJURED, or start your case online, mullenandmullen.com. No recovery, no expense or fees. Been that way since 83.
Ever since I was a kid, I looked up to my dad. Man, he could fix anything, including power generators. That puff of smoke and the sound of the machine roaring with electricity was the coolest thing ever. He'd give me a high five and say, "Son, you're the Kennerator." Since then, I've spent decades building my company with one goal, helping people like my dad did. And now, I own the best generator company in DFW. See our story at Kennerator.com. Like generator with a K. Kennerator.com.
I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, debunking 3 myths about fiduciaries. And you're going to be surprised about myth number 3. Myth number 1. Fiduciaries are too expensive. Not at Trajan Wealth. Our interests are aligned with yours, so we don't need to push costly investments. The more you make, the more we make. It's that simple. Myth number 2, they will only want to sell me something. Absolutely not. At Trajan Wealth, we have hearts of teachers, and it's our goal to educate and empower, not sell. And the biggest myth, myth number 3, fiduciaries are only for the wealthy. Not at Trajan Wealth. Whether you have 50 grand or 50 million, we know it was hard-earned and we'll treat it as such. Let's grow together. So, here's your opportunity for a 100% complimentary professional Q&A. Call Trajan today at 469-579-3500. That's 469-579-3500.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Cookies are ready.
Honey, why are you going to the attic?
Well, our energy bills have been so high, and our attic is insanely hot. I thought I'd save on running the oven and bake the cookies up here.
Hold on. What? It's that hot up there? I don't think it's supposed to be that way.
At Firehouse Roofing, we see that 7 out of 10 homes in DFW have this problem, and we have a super easy solution. Introducing the Firehouse Attic Diagnosis for only $55. Our trucks are in every single neighborhood every week, so it's easy for us to stop by and check the status of your attic. In order to ensure you're not wasting your money away on inefficiencies, our team will create a custom ventilation and insulation plan. Plus, if you decide to move forward with any work, we will waive the cost of your diagnosis completely. Call Firehouse today and ask for our attic diagnosis.
Don't get burned, get a Firehouse roof. It's happening at pharmacies all across America. Older Americans keep asking, where are the lower prices on prescription drugs Joe Biden and Kamala Harris keep taking credit for? First, Harris cast the deciding vote for the Inflation Reduction Act, promising to lower drug prices. Then the Biden-Harris administration used the money from Medicare to bankroll their liberal green agenda. That's right. Instead of savings, seniors got a 20% premium increase, restrictions on access to medicine, and fewer cures. Now, liberals want to expand this Biden-Harris scheme that is already hurting seniors. Thankfully, Senator John Cornyn has always fought to protect Medicare drug coverage. Call him at 202-224-3121. Urge him to keep fighting for affordable drug coverage by opposing S 1246. Paid for by Seniors for Better Care.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus Media Station. Trending now.
The Dallas community rallies behind their police department. I'm Eric Bushman from the Novak Motors News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
We have a couple of crashes in Dallas. One's on southbound 35E at Highway 67, taking up 2 right lanes. It's causing about a 5 to 7 minute delay from Sainer Avenue. And the other is on the southbound Dallas North Tollway. It's blocking the entrance ramp from Mockingbird Lane. With WBAP, First Traffic and Weather on the ones, I'm Colin Ellis.
Why do so many Texans love classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? We're the #1 Chevy dealership in the world. New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox. Gotta visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023.
The WBAP forecast, chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, mostly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. It is 88 in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. This news brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. Dallas residents are backing their police department after Officer Darren Burks was shot and killed while sitting inside his patrol car last week. This man held an American flag outside the South Central Police Station, urging people who drove by to show their support for Dallas police.
What I'm doing is the same thing I did back in after 7/7/16. My family and I came out here. We did sign waving, flag waving, American flag, blue line flag. We'd come out here and support the police. Well, doing the very same thing again, but this time, this incident came out of the South Central Police Station.
A visitation and celebration of life for Officer Burks will begin at 9 o'clock Saturday morning, September 7th at Watermark Church in Dallas. Your Money News, Vice President Kamala Harris is wrapping up a campaign stop in Detroit as she's trying to gain union support on Labor Day. Fox's Garrett Tenney has more.
In her speech, Harris touted her economic policies, again, though, without sharing many specifics.
When I am president, we will continue to build what I call an opportunity economy so that every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, to build intergenerational wealth for their family.
The challenge for Harris, though, is that while the economy is the top issue for voters, the latest Fox News poll shows that in battleground Sunbelt states, voters trust former President Trump more than Harris on that very issue.
In a recent polling average from Real Clear Politics, Vice President Harris has a 1-point lead over former President Donald Trump in the state of Michigan. Again, the high today in the upper 80s. It is 88 in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. Your next news update is at 4 o'clock. I'm Eric Bushman. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP for the latest on Decision 2024.
Remember Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones saying in the offseason that he was all in for 2024. And that left a lot of us asking, what's that mean, Jerry? Because the team didn't really do anything as far as going out and signing some big-name free agents to improve America's team. From our Mullen & Mullen Law Firm Sports Desk, I'm Steve Lamb. Unless something happens in the next couple of days, it doesn't look like Dak Prescott will get a contract extension, leaving the door open for him to become a free agent next March. The bottom line, Prescott's going to get paid by Dallas or another team in the NFL, $55 million a year, $60 million more. And if he leaves, Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes, has emerged as a possible name to replace Dak. Coming up in November at Jerry's World, you've got the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, exhibition fight, whatever you want to call it. Tyson has revealed he's incorporated mushrooms into his training routine, saying he has to take them when he trains because I feel beautiful. It takes me to heaven, baby. I'm beginning to think maybe the 58-year-old former heavyweight champ has been hit in the head one too many times. That's your Monday afternoon sports update. I'm Steve Lamb.
Brought to you by the law offices of Thomas J. Henry.
According to TxDOT, on average, one motorcyclist dies every day on Texas roads. If you or a loved one were injured in a motorcycle crash, call Thomas J. Henry. To learn more or start your claim today, visit tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 in my garage after I overpaid for new blinds. I researched the industry, hired my mom, and 14 years later, we're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
Aikman on the Cowboys, powered by CWD Service Pros.
Fridays during the regular season at 6:54 a.m., 8:54 a.m., and 4:54 p.m. Only on News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now new on FM at 93.3.
Hey, Hey there, welcome back to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. No, Steve Lamb, I'm not shocked Mike Tyson's on drugs. Not at all. Could have told you that. I couldn't have been as specific as you were in your report there. But hey, this is a special time on the show. We stop by once a week. I'm giving away tickets here for Dead or Alive. The tickets this week, 2 tickets to see Green Day, the Saviors Tour. And that means it's not just Green Day. It's Green Day, the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. It's coming up September 11th at Globe Life Field. For the rest of us, we can get tickets at Ticketmaster.com, but I'm going to give away some tickets right now on Dead or Alive. Thank you, Mr. Jovi. Welcome to Dead or Alive. Oh, okay. Good to see you, too. I'm going to name 10 celebrities. You have one simple task. You have one job. Tell me if they're dead or alive. Let's start with Nancy. Nancy in Weatherford, you ready to go on Dead or Alive?
I'm ready.
All right. First one, former Dallas Morning News columnist Jean-Jacques Taylor, dead or alive?
He's dead. No.
No, he was just. Hang on. What the? Was that a joke? Did you hear the husband in the background saying no? He was just my guest 2 segments ago. Nancy, let's see what Matt in Palestine does. I might go back to you because that feels really. That was almost like a joke question. Okay, hang on. Matt, you're going to decide the fate of the game here. Are you ready for Dead or Alive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rick Dees, dead or alive?
Dead.
No, Rick Dees is alive. Okay, this is going to be one of those days, isn't it? We don't want to give away the tickets. No one wants to win tickets? Brent in Weatherford, are you ready for Dead or Alive?
Yeah.
All right, real estate mogul Roger Staubach, dead or alive?
Oh, he's very alive. He can still throw a ball 70 yards.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I hear he used to play football, too. Comic legend Chevy Chase, dead or alive?
No, he's still alive. He's a sorry comedian.
Yeah, he is. I hear he's a real piece of garbage as a human being. I love some of his movies, but I've heard too many bad stories. I guess you have, too. Paul Rubens, we know him better as Pee Wee Herman, dead or alive?
Bless his heart, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. He's gone.
I appreciate the reverence for such an important historical figure as Pee Wee Herman. Quarterback, Texas quarterback legend Vince Young, dead or alive?
Yeah, he's alive.
Yeah, he's only 41 years old. The guy who was the Ultimate Warrior, the wrestler, his real name's James Hellwig, is the Ultimate Warrior, dead or alive?
Okay, what was his stage name?
The Ultimate Warrior.
Good grief, man. I have no idea.
It's a 50-50 shot then. Just guess. I don't blame you for not knowing wrestlers. I had to look this up myself.
Yeah. I'm going to say dead.
He is dead. Died in 2014. Had a heart attack. I think it's all them steroids. Herb Tarlick from WKRP. The actor's name is Frank Bonner. Is he dead or alive?
Now, who was that again?
Herb Tarlick from WKRP, the guy that wore the plaid suits and looked really ridiculous.
I guess dead.
That's a great guess because you had no idea, did you?
No, none there. Yeah.
George Michael from Wham and then a great solo career. Is the singer George Michael dead or alive?
Man, I love that guy.
He will be your father figure. Put your tiny hand in mine.
I think he's dead.
He is dead. Died in 2016. And finally, well, you really salvaged this game for us, Brent. Barry Gibb, one of the founding brothers in the Bee Gees. Is Barry Gibb dead or alive?
Now, wait a minute. There was 3 of them.
Yeah, there was like Robin and
4 of them. Yeah.
Something. I don't think Andy Gibb was in it, but there was 4 brothers.
Robin.
Yeah. So
I think he's the one alive.
He is one. Oh man, thank you so much. And hang on. I almost have to apologize. You don't hang up, Brent. Nancy.
Yeah.
Was that your husband fussing at you in the background about Jean-Jacques Taylor?
Close enough.
Oh, the boyfriend, huh? That's your boyfriend?
No, I wouldn't call him that. He's my son.
Oh, well, then that's not close. Okay, never mind. That got gross all of a sudden. Thank you, Nancy. You should listen to your son more often. You owe him an apology on this one. All right, Brent, you are a big winner on Dead or Alive. So Brent wins 2 tickets to see Green Day, the Saviors Tour, come to Globe Life Field September 11th. Special guest Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, the Linda Lindas. For the rest of us, we have to go get our tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Coming up next, some financial news. Ford has a big recall, a bunch of other things affecting your money coming up. I'll let you know about it next on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Have you heard the news today?
Cobb Bay approached Officer Burks and talked with him briefly through the driver's side window as he recorded the encounter.
The latest Fox News polls find Vice President Harris with 50% in 3 of the 4 Sunbelt swing states.
I think that was essentially an opportunity for her to try to begin to waffle.
Don't miss a thing. Stay connected for whatever's next.
News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now, new on FM at 93.3.
Are you dreading the idea of dental implants? There's no need to worry. We have Dr. Steve Brown of the Dental Implant Place here in the Metroplex. Dr. Brown is a pioneer in the minimally invasive technique that gives you a beautiful smile, reduces healing time, is much less painful, and in most cases costs less than other dentists in our area. Dr. Brown has placed over 12,000 implants and has trained other dentists throughout the country in this revolutionary technique. Along with a compassionate, experienced staff, the whole team at the Dental Implant Place is ready and able to help you realize your dream smile.
I want to meet with you personally. Minimally invasive techniques, all-inclusive pricing, all in one place, and compassionate care. See the difference for yourself at thedentalimplantplace.com. That's thedentalimplantplace.com. Your new smile is here.
Mention this ad and receive 15% off your total price when starting new treatment in the month of September. Financing excluded.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Is your CD causing things to be uncomfortable in the bedroom? Millions of couples suffer from the effects of CD every year. Comfort dysfunction is caused by worn-out heating and air conditioning systems, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. So the moment things get a little steamy at home, immediately call Reliant Air Conditioning. Their technicians are all certified in the proper treatment of comfort dysfunction. If your CD is leaving you unsatisfied, then slip into something more comfortable with a new Carrier Infinity system from Reliant Air Conditioning.
Do not drink alcohol in excess with Reliant, as this may increase your chances of hugging the technician. The most common side effect of calling Reliant is saving up to 56% on your utility bills.
Before calling Reliant, ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for extreme comfort.
In the rare event of comfort dysfunction lasting more than 4 hours, seek immediate relief by calling Reliant Air Conditioning at 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-YOUR-HERO or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
We have a vehicle fire in Denton County on southbound I-35 at Rector Road. The police are directing traffic out on the highway. You're looking at about a 10 to 15 minute jam through the area. Still have that crash in Dallas on the southbound Dallas North Tollway, blocking the entrance ramp from Mockingbird. And you also still have a crash in South Dallas on 35E southbound. It's blocking 2 right lanes at Highway 67, causing a jam from Illinois Avenue. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
Brought to you by All Pro Foundation Repair. Separation from the soil, sheetrock cracks, or sticking doors, those are signs of foundation problems, and they don't get better on their own. So call the pros at All Pro Foundation Repair today at 877-MEAN-GREEN.
All Pro Foundation Repair, the right solution for your home.
From the Airco AC Heating and Plumbing Studio, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Dan Bongino.
No, it's the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 98.3. So in economic news, I really wish the world would spend more time on economic news. I get why they don't. I get why other media outlets don't. It's not really that good for ratings, number one. You might care about it, but there's not enough people who are as heady and deep thinkers as the WBAP audience. And so what gets more clicks, what gets more stories? So-and-so's dating so-and-so. Kim Kardashian's wearing a shirt that's kind of see-through, or you can see someone's butt. A lot of butts popping up on my timeline. But this is the stuff that affects you all day, every day. This is the kind of discussions you need to be having when you're formulating who you're going to vote for, what platform you're going to support, what policies you would like to see your leaders pursue. We don't get a whole lot of that. We get a whole lot of some people's weird, some people are joyous, some people hate women, some people are, communist is almost a legit economic complaint. But look, let me give you a couple examples. Number one, Volkswagen is thinking about leaving Germany. They're thinking about shutting down their plants. Now, this is an interesting story for a few reasons. Number one, Volkswagen's 87 years old. What was happening 87 years ago in Germany? Oh, yeah, that's right, Hitler. This is Hitler's car company, not that he's like the auto engineer that designed the body style or the engine or drivetrain or any of that, but it's kind of feels gross when you put it like that. Like, well, would you even mind if it went away? But this is how German this car company is. This started out not as a private company, but as a government entity. This was of the people of Germany. And then here it is, not even a decade later. It's still one of the biggest car companies in the world. I think it's like number 3 or something, but it's not even going to be building its cars in Germany anymore. That's interesting. The question is, why? You know, all of the reasons why manufacturing leaves the home country and goes to a foreign country are not bad. One of the reasons why so much of our stuff that was made here is now made overseas and then shipped here, whether it's your furniture or your blue jeans or the little plastic toys that your kids get in the Happy Meal, it's because it's cheaper to make them overseas. And the number one reason is the cost of labor. So the reason why so much of our manufacturing base goes overseas, or any country's manufacturing base goes overseas, is because we're so affluent, because we have been so damn successful. You can't get Americans that will snap together an iPhone for 16 hours a day for $4 a day, or whatever the communists can force out of their poor little prisoner citizens. But Germany is one of the countries that's the worst. At best, I should say. Depends on how you look at it. If you're trying to hire people there, they're going to be the most expensive. They don't have a big underclass like we have. That's one of the things the big business people, the Chamber of Commerce, the neocon part of the Republicans, they like about immigration. If you wonder why all these other Republicans are so soft on immigration, well, if you're a company that has to employ thousands of people to turn out a product, you want the cheapest labor force here. If you can import people, the cost of your labor goes down or doesn't go up as fast as it otherwise would. There's downward pressure on your wages. Then if you're a guy that owns a meat packing plant, you like illegal immigration. If you're a guy that owns an assembly line, you like illegal immigration. If you're a guy that's like a housing contractor and you need a bunch of guys to frame a whole subdivision where the houses, illegal immigrants will do it cheaper than me and Garrett would. So Germany has the worst of that situation. They have such a strong cultural success rate that so many of their people are so skilled and so expensive, and wages are so high, and there's not an underclass of people, that their manufacturing goes overseas quickly. It's amazing Volkswagen has stuck around that long. So first, I push back at the idea that Volkswagen having to go to another country is necessarily all bad. But another way you can look at this is, well, is there something we can do to minimize this? I know we're not going to get rid of it. I know manufacturing is going to go overseas. There's no system in which you could have Americans sew your jeans together as cheaply as they could in an Indonesian sweatshop. They don't even need air conditioning, and they live in a jungle. But how do you minimize this? Well, there's a couple of problems that are spelt out in this Volkswagen situation, and I love reading sometimes on these situations the platforms that I disagree with. What would CNN say is the reason Volkswagen is having to move shipping overseas? Here's what CNN says. It's because they're not keeping up with the electric car demands. That's what it is. They're just not green enough. They don't follow our political ideology enough. Sounds silly, right? There actually may be a kernel of truth in that, but it's not for the reason CNN says. One of Germany's biggest market for cars is China, believe it or not. And China is cranking out electric cars that nobody wants. They're so tiny and pitiful and ineffective. They're not even sold here. They wouldn't even be street legal here. But China can force them on their own people. And for the small upper class and somewhat of a middle class that they're building in China, the people that can actually afford to buy cars, they're being incentivized and subsidized to buy these cars, these electric cars that China wants them to have. Hey, we want you to buy from us, not from this German company. We want you to spend your yuan here, Y-U-A-N, their currency. We want you to spend that here on ours. And tell you what, we'll give you a deal. We'll make it cheaper than the Volkswagen. Okay, but I like the Volkswagen better. It has more features. Okay, well, we'll subsidize this. We'll put some features on it. Or tell you what, we can basically force you. We can make your life so miserable. Social credit score, whatever they got to do. They're forcing people to buy these electric cars. So CNN looks at that and they don't say, oh, man, China is forcing these poor bastards to buy electric cars when they really want Volkswagen. That's cutting into Volkswagen's market share. There's a kernel of truth in that. But the truth isn't, oh, people are falling all over themselves to get into electric cars and Volkswagens just can't keep up and now they're paying the price. No, people don't really want electric cars so much so that China has to force them on their people. And there's a couple of other things that CNN, it's almost like they accidentally point some of this out. They're complaining about how looks like Volkswagen's trying to get out of the collective bargaining agreement they have with their auto workers union. No, it looks like they can't afford their collective bargaining agreement. It looks like the union isn't sticking up for the workers. It looks like the union is putting the workers out of business faster than they otherwise would have. It's the same story, just a little bit different twists on the same kernels of truth. Get you very different storylines to come out of it. Paul in McKinney, you're on WBAP. What do you think?
James, how are you? Hey, my wife's family is all German, and they come and see us. And what their deal is, like it's illegal for us to hire illegal aliens here, Germany enforces that. So they have all kinds of Muslim country people that live there, and they do not let them work. So you can't, if you are there, you get your socialist medical paid for, but you cannot work. So they build these people's cities or housing, and they don't allow them to work. So that's why there is not a cheap labor situation there.
Yeah. If you read this, thank you very much for that insight. I appreciate you filling out the story a little bit, Paul and McKinney. Yeah, but if you read the CNN article, it's like, because Volkswagen's just being so recalcitrant in their rejection of electric cars that it's killing them. Stop it. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Every walker who joins the American Heart Association's Heart Walk, every dollar donated means more people trained in life-saving CPR, more research, more life-saving moments for everyone. So walk to save lives. You register at DallasHeartWalk.org or TarrantCountyHeartWalk.org. Coming up next, Debbie Schlussel, more on Kamala's preparation for the first debate coming up next week. This is The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey, let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Okay, we all know it's hot here in DFW. It's summer. It's also the time where a lot of you are having backyard pool parties, barbecues, even just relaxing under your favorite tree. I've got a favorite tree. It's my giant pecan tree. I also know what it's supposed to look like. Up at the top, I noticed some dead branches. Of course, I'm smart enough to know, not me. I'm not going up on a ladder. I called Save a Tree. They're the tree, shrub, and lawn experts. Lambo here talking about a company that can turn your yard into an oasis like they did mine. I like being in the yard, but I'm a radio guy. I'm not an arborist. I don't have a green thumb. Save a Tree came out. They reshaped my tree, so there's no more branches hanging over the house. The lawn is green and healthy. And those shrubs on the exterior of the home, no more disease. Save a Tree is like having Mother Nature on speed dial. Schedule an appointment and let them come out and work their magic on your yard too. SaveATree.com. That's SaveATree.com. Tell them that sports guy at WBAP Lambo said to check out SaveATree.com.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. If you've been injured in an accident, you want us to handle your case. Texas drivers know that when they're hit, we hit back harder. Get your free case review at WilhiteWins.com.
Prior results do not guarantee similar outcome.
Did you know that experts from the roofing and insurance industry agree that if your roof is over 7 years old, you need to have it inspected each year by a licensed roofing contractor? Hey, it's James Parker from my friends at Paradigm Roofing. Now, they offer a free, that's right, I said free, 23-point roof inspection for homeowners in the metro and surrounding areas. Their roofing technicians will get on your roof and carefully examine 23 different areas that typically show signs of early roof failure. If they do find issues, most of the time a simple repair gets your roof back up to par and allows you to get the full lifespan out of it. If it is time to replace your roof, the owner Greg Hiltz has agreed to give my listeners a $500 discount on a roof replacement right off the top. Look, I get it. No one wants to deal with roofing problems. Catch these minor issues before they become major problems. Schedule your free 23-point roof inspection with Paradigm Roofing today. 972-542-7774 or schedule your appointment online at ParadigmRoofs.com.
Mecum Auctions returns to the Dallas Convention Center September 4th through 7th with 1,500 muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, trucks, hot rods, customs, and more. Bidder registration and spectator tickets at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
Rodeo tickets for the 2025 Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo go on sale Monday, September 9th at 10 a.m. Don't miss Fort Worth's most fun and exciting rodeo experience in Dickies Arena. Go to FWSSR.com for more information. Brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, North Texas Chevy Dealers, Dickies, Texas Health, Simmons Bank, and Reliant. The Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. This thing is legendary.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP AM, Fort Worth, Dallas. 93.3 WBAP FM, Haltom City, Dallas. And 99.5 KPLX FM HD2, Fort Worth, Dallas.
Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus Media Station.
Trending now.
Dallas police released footage of officers taking down the man who killed an officer. I'm Eric Bushman from the Novak Motors News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
Better news on I-35 East southbound at 67. That wreck is cleared out, unwinding from Sanger. Now, we do have one in the town of Sanger on I-35 southbound at Rector Road. It looks like only one lane squeaking by there. 20-minute backup at Chapman Road. I-20 westbound at Park Springs Boulevard got a new wreck taking away that left lane in Arlington. With WBAP's First Traffic on the Ones, I'm Monty Cook.
Why do so many Texans love classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? We're the #1 Chevy dealership in the world. New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, gotta visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023.
I'm WFA meteorologist Kyle Roberts. We continue to have rain in the forecast over the next day or so, and then we'll dry out the rest of the week. Tonight, it's a 50% coverage with a low of 72, 60% coverage tomorrow with a high of only 81. Wednesday's a 30% coverage with a high of 85. We dry out Thursday, 88 for the high. Dry once again on Friday, warming up even more with a high of 91.
88 degrees in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. This news brought to you by the Wilhite Law Firm. It took 6 Dallas police officers to take down a man who killed an officer.
Corey Cobb Bay ambushed Officer Darren Burks, killing him in his squad car last Thursday. The 30-year-old shot 2 other officers before fleeing to Louisville, where police cornered him on the expressway.
Got a weapon in hand, walking back towards officers. Vehicle, weapon in hand. Roll EMS. Got shots fired.
Cobb Bay had pointed a shotgun at officers who shot him dead at the scene. No officers were injured in Louisville. However, Senior Corporal Carissa David was shot in the face in Oak Cliff and remains in critical but stable condition. Mike Trena, WBAP News.
A funeral was held today in Jerusalem for Hirsch Goldberg Poland, an Israeli-American hostage taken in the October 7th attacks, whose body was recovered from a tunnel in Gaza. Rachel Goldberg, Hirsch's mother, mourning the death of her son.
He was the perfect son for me. And I am so grateful to God. And I want to do Hakarat Hatov and thank God right now in front of all of you for giving me this magnificent present of my Hirsch.
Hamas killed 6 hostages, including Goldberg Poland, during a rescue effort by IDF forces. The terrorist group previously took nearly 250 hostages during the October 7th attacks. Your money news, the FAA is still investigating last week's accident involving a first-stage SpaceX booster that tipped over while landing on a drone ship. Here's Fox's Jonathan Siri in Atlanta.
SpaceX officials say the accident that happened Wednesday was purely a recovery issue and did not pose any threat to public safety or the primary mission objective. Falcon 9's first-stage booster is designed to return to Earth so it can be reused. During Wednesday's landing attempt, it tipped over on that drone ship, but the second stage went on to successfully deploy 21 Starlink satellites in low Earth orbit. The FAA cleared Falcon 9 to return to flight Friday, and during the pre-dawn hours Saturday, SpaceX launched back-to-back Starlink missions from Florida and California, with successful booster landings each time.
The Falcon 9 will be used to help return 2 astronauts stuck on the International Space Station to Earth early next year. Again, the low tonight, 74. It is 88 in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. This news also brought to you by the Good Feet store. Your next news update is at 4:30. I'm Eric Bushman. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP for the latest on Decision 2024.
This hour on WBAP is brought to you by the Wilhite Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Go to WilhiteWins.com.
That's WilhiteWins.com.
Hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I know, hey, good to see you too. My next guest is one of my favorites. It's the great Debbie Schlussel on the James Show. And I need Debbie because she has going to be a No Ruth preview of the debate that's happening next week. And Debbie, the last debate that was had ended a presidential campaign. Is there a possibility that this could be bad enough to make them rethink Kamala Harris?
No. I think she's going to be very well trained. She won't be able to have her chaperone, Mr. Walls.
Her security blanket, her whoopee?
Yeah, that's right.
You like that?
Yes, that. That's so funny. So she won't be able to bring him, but I think she's going to be very well trained. You can tell she's already getting the lines down there. I do think Trump could be his own worst enemy. So hopefully he will focus, and stay on message and not get into things like first she was Indian and then she was black and things like that. It's not going to help him. He's got to focus on the issues, not she's stupid or she's an idiot. not going to help him. He's got to stay on message. If he does that, which he did for the most part at the debate with Biden, wasn't hard because Biden was on another planet and Trump had it all to himself, basically. But if he does that, I think he'll do well. I think she's got too much going on where she has to take responsibility for everything that's happened in the Biden administration. She has to take responsibility for a lot of the things, the high inflation. You know, they tell us the economy is booming. Well, that may be true, but the problem is that, first of all, they exaggerated the number of jobs in the last quarter. Second, even if the economy is booming, the problem is the more money people make is lagging far behind the prices having escalated and also the shrinkflation of the boxes. So the dollar is buying a lot less, and people are not idiots. They see it, and she's going to have to answer for that, and it's going to be tough because she is responsible for Bidenomics, and she's trying to say, I'm going to fix things, I'm going to make it better for you, it's so hard for a family, but people can't relate to her saying it since she was part of the team that caused it. So we'll see. I'm sure she'll get some good one-liners and zingers that somebody wrote up for her to use against Trump. But I think she's really not a very seasoned debater. I mean, she went through all those debates when she was running for president, and she didn't do too well, apparently, because she didn't get a single Democrat delegate.
No, she is not known as a master debater.
Yeah.
What? I didn't say anything. So there was a New York Post article this weekend.
That's what Doug Emhoff said. Anyway, keep going.
So the New York Post was talking about Jeff Walz. Jeff Walz is Tim Walz's older brother. He does not support Tim Walz for president, and he actually had a warning. He's not going to do any interviews or anything because he doesn't want to run his family through the mud, and because, you know, he's going to be just destroyed with criticism if he sticks his neck out there too far. But someone went through and they found a bunch of old social media posts from Jeff Walz that show that this guy is not on Team Blue. He's on Team Red. And he was asked about it, and just in text, he's not doing any interviews or anything. He says he doesn't support 100% of his brother's platform. Is that going to change anyone's mind?
No, I don't think people care. I think we've seen family members come out against people. It doesn't make a dent. Barack Obama had his half-brother say he didn't support him. He did interviews. He was on Fox News. He was on a lot of conservative radio
Yeah,
shows.
George. I remember that guy. He was in the Dinesh D'Souza movie, too. And you know what? The one that comes to mind for me is Mary Trump, Donald Trump's sister.
That was going to be my next person. She's his next person I was going to cite, his first cousin. And now his other first cousin, I think her brother, just wrote a book. It's not really going anywhere. So accusing him of being racist, I don't think people care what relatives say. I don't even think they care if relatives are complete idiots. Look at Billy Carter. Look at Roger Clinton. Look at Hugh Rodham, Hillary's brother. People don't care.
Yeah, and that's the same discussion we had last week when a bunch of RFK family members wrote the letter saying, we do not endorse his position as part of the Kennedy clan. He is the black sheep, and we are not behind him at all. Didn't really seem to matter, did it?
No, and listen, I think most Americans know many families, maybe most families have their dysfunctions and people don't all get along. And it doesn't mean that the person they're speaking out against is a bad person. It may mean the people speaking out are bad people because they have no qualms about speaking out against family members to the general public rather than keeping it in the family. It sounds like Tim Walz's brother is trying to have it both ways and trying to backtrack, and I don't think he can at this point because there's a trail.
So we have Nate Silver has changed his big picture on who's favored to win the presidency. Ever since she announced the positions had switched, Trump was winning, and it just the little sugar high that we were talking about up until last week looks like it finally wore off. Trump has a 52.4% chance of winning to Harris's 47.3% chance of winning. So look, it's just 5 points apart, and Nate Silver has been wrong before. but it looks like something we've been asking about happened. The sugar high, did it wear off? Is that all that's happened here?
I think a little bit of it has, but I would not listen. He has been wrong before. On the other hand, his methodology, he uses a number of polls and some other factors that make him, I think, more accurate maybe than just one poll. I do think that in some cases it's worn off, but I think in many cases she is kind of like an Obama event candidate. People want to say, I voted for the first woman president, I voted for the first black woman president, what have you. And I think that a lot of the same people who said I voted for the first black president voted for Obama for no reason other than race will vote for her for no reason other than race and gender. And they can't be discounted in any way, shape, or form. I think there is a lot of momentum for her. I don't think the CNN interview helped her at all. For people that watched it, I didn't even see it. I saw some clips of it. I don't have cable, and I had no desire to see 20 minutes, which is very little, frankly. I think it was down to 18 minutes when you count a lot of different things.
It was 18 minutes, yeah.
And it was heavily edited. It wasn't live. I would like to see a live interview. And I think the fact that she did so poorly and had to have a chaperone and a security blanket, as you put it, which is funny, it's true. I think the fact that she had to do those things and she performed so poorly with something that was pre-recorded and edited and for a very short amount of time did not look good for her, and I don't think that helped her. I think that's why she went down a little bit. I mean, you see Trump speaking off the cuff for over 2 hours at various events, doing interviews with various media people. Now, a lot of them are friendly, but he's talking with them for more than 2 hours.
Right.
And it's not edited, it's not pre-recorded, and if it is, it's presented end to end. There's no editing in the middle. So it didn't look good for her. I don't know how many people are paying attention to that. I think we're now in a country where people go by who's the biggest rock star according to the media, who is like I said, the event candidate, and just a lot of hype. They don't go by substance, and we will see. I do think also it is going to be very tight. It's going to go back and forth. And I think it's not going to be a rout for either candidate. She may win the popular vote, but that's not how we decide elections.
Thank goodness.
And we'll see.
All right, Debbie Schlussel, go find her online. She is an absolute menace on social media, and I mean that in a good way, Debbie. Thank you for being on the James Show.
Anytime.
Debbie Schlussel. Go find her, Debbie Schlussel. Coming up next, we're going to talk about this whole process by which you demoralize the majority. What does that mean? I'll explain in 5 minutes on the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
I'm working for my kids and as early retirement as possible.
I'm working to be rich.
Why do I work? I work because I have to pay for my new house.
Happy Labor Day. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now new on FM at 93.3.
When you're hot or cold or the water doesn't flow, think Airco.
Airco Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing has been locally owned for 35 years and has earned thousands of 5-star ratings. Airco will fix your home's AC, plumbing, or drain problems fast, too, with no extra fees, nights, or weekends. Mention WBAP and get $50 off any repair. Call 877-ITS-AIRCO or schedule online at airco.com.
Airco, we bring comfort home.
Cookies are ready.
Honey, why are you going to the attic?
Well, our energy bills have been so high, and our attic is insanely hot. I thought I'd save on running the oven and bake the cookies up here.
Hold on. What? It's that hot up there? I don't think it's supposed to be that way.
At Firehouse Roofing, we see that 7 out of 10 homes in DFW have this problem, and we have a super easy solution. Introducing the Firehouse Attic Diagnosis for only $55. Our trucks are in every single neighborhood every week, so it's easy for us to stop by and check the status of your attic. In order to ensure you're not wasting your money away on inefficiencies, our team will create a custom ventilation and insulation plan. Plus, if you decide to move forward with any work, we will waive the cost of your diagnosis completely. Call Firehouse today and ask for our attic diagnosis.
Don't get burned, get a Firehouse roof.
This is Victor McClure, the president of McClure Capital, and for decades, the host of the Common Sense Investing Show. In appreciation to all the listeners, I want to offer you a free copy of my very first book, The Common Sense Investing Guide to Retirement. This is your definitive guide to everything retirement. I put my 30-plus years as a retirement planner into one book. If you're within 20 years of retirement or currently retired, this book is the most informative guide you'll ever own. How do you get the most out of Social Security? How to properly plan for taxes, inflation, health care. How to get the most out of your Medicare. How to allocate your assets before and during retirement. There is a difference. How to avoid the single biggest threat to retirement. Believe it or not, it's not inflation or taxes. Most importantly, how to guarantee you'll achieve the retirement of your dreams and to make sure it lasts for the rest of your life. Call for a free copy at 972-715-2424. That's 972-715-2424. Or go to ilovemyretirement.com.
From spot I-35 southbound at Rector Road in Sanger. That one is taking away the right lane. There's about a 45-minute backup behind it now to Bells Road. One in Arlington clearing I-20 westbound at Park Springs. That is still a little bit slow on the approach. Now we've got a new one in Fort Worth, I-20 eastbound at the James Crowley exit. That one taking away that right lane. With WBAP's First Traffic, I'm Monty Cook.
This report is sponsored by HTO. Ready to raise a cup to summer? HTO lets you brew you. Mix and match real and real refreshing iced tea flavors, or boost your day with an all-natural energy shot or slow-roasted free rain coffee. HTO. Brew your thing. Find your HTO at HTEAO.com.
Brought to you by the law offices of Thomas J. Henry.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more than 5,000 people died in workplace accidents in 2019 alone. Thomas J. Henry handles serious workplace accident cases and gets serious results for injured clients. Visit tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Have something on your mind? Share it here, 24/7. Opinionated talk radio. Keep connected, DFW. News Talk 820, WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. In this segment, I'm going to be combining two guys who are smarter than me. First one, Douglas Murray. Next one's going to be Thomas Sowell. Ooh, someone just got excited. Thomas Sowell, I love him. Hang on a second. Let me do Douglas Murray first. Because he's a guy who's in Britain who is making the case about, hey, all this immigration we have here, it is changing our country and not for the better. Some immigration can change your country for the better. Some immigration can change your country for the worse. If you bring a bunch of good people in your country, if you have control over your immigration, if you get to selectively choose people who have some sort of accomplishment, they've accumulated some wealth, or they've accumulated some sort of education or some skills, these are the people you want to bring in. You want to bring in doctors and engineers and whatnot. But there's a group of people out there, if you bring them into your country, will make your country worse. Not all immigration is good. Not all immigration is bad. Not all illegal immigration is good. Not all illegal immigration is bad. And Douglas Murray pulls no punches, and he almost enjoys. He's a very disagreeable person, not in the fact that he's mean, but he likes to correct people when they're wrong. I have that same problem. It's great for a talk show host. I would be terrible at hosting a dinner party. I think Douglas Murray would too. But he makes a good point with some of his comparisons and metaphors and examples. And this is one. If you wouldn't demoralize a minority, why would you demoralize a majority?
It would be madness to, if people from the Indian subcontinent made up 3% of your population, it would be madness to try to demoralize that population, or to try to find ways to just say that they were nothing and never had been anything, and it was sort of best if they just tried to sidle through their lives without harming anyone. Why would you do that to 3% of the population? Among other things, it's rude, it's cruel, it's unusual, and that 3% of the population is a significant amount of the population. You don't want to demoralize 3% of the population. Okay. Why would you do that to a majority? Who is so insane that they want to do this to majority populations? And the answer seems to be, well, we're finding out. We are finding out.
I've tried to say similar things. I just didn't do it that well. But isn't that a fantastic point? Why are you running around trying to demoralize the majority of your population? And that's a rhetorical question. You know why they're doing it. It's political expediency. You don't want the people standing up for their heritage and their history and their constitution and their rights and the things that make America America. My God, they might vote for Republicans. So I take that, and I want to combine it with an interview from Thomas Sowell not that long ago. Thomas Sowell was talking about when he grew up in Harlem, how he used to not hear gunshots. And I thought, oh, you know what? That's interesting, because one of the points that we like to make here on Team Red is, we often gripe about the moral decay of society overall. And that's a great point. A lot of people try and make a direct connection between, well, it's socioeconomic factors. It's because they're in poverty. It's because they're oppressed. It's because anything and everything other is an excuse other than their policies, right? But when Thomas Sowell grew up in Harlem, they were more oppressed than they are now. Segregation was still a thing. Surveys about racial attitudes, about intermarrying between races, any metric was worse. The level of poverty was much worse. But even with all those socioeconomic factors being worse than they are today, he didn't grow up hearing gunshots. Now, why is that? How is that? If it's all socioeconomic, how is this true?
When I grew up in Harlem in the 40s and 50s, I never heard a gunshot. Now, I'm sure someone fired a gun somewhere in Harlem, but it was not such a pervasive thing that you had to hear it. I have relatives in Washington. I asked them the same question. People in my generation.
Growing up in Washington, D.C.
Yes, and low-income black neighborhoods. Did you ever hear a gunshot when you were growing up? And the answer was no. I have relatives in North Carolina. I asked the same question. No.
So that's interesting. Well, what else was going on? Let's talk about homicide rates then. Thomas Sowell again.
The homicide rate in the years that I was growing up, and I was really quite lucky as I went through the research, I discovered being in the right place at the right time. The homicide victimization rate among black males in the decade of the 1940s declined by 18%. From 1950 to 1960, it declined another 22%. And then in the 1960s, when all these wonderful new ideas in the criminal justice system came in, all of that reversed, and it shot up 89% in one decade, wiping out all the progress of the two preceding decades.
All right, so let's not just slap down the fact that the reason why there's so much chaos in some communities, more so than others, is totally socioeconomic. I mean, he totally did that there. But let's give the other side. Well, if it's not that they're poor because they were poorer then, it's not that they're in poverty because they were in higher poverty rates back then. It's not that they're oppressed or white people aren't treating them fairly. They were treated more unfairly back then in the 40s and 50s. Then what might it be? Because you and I don't think it's socioeconomic. You and I think it's cultural. You and I think it's not a shortage of money. It's a shortage of what? Dads.
Children raised without two parents present. That was about 22% in 1960. One generation later, it was 67%, and it's gone up a little since then as well. And now the rate among whites is higher than it was among blacks in 1960.
Right.
So if you look at what actually happens in the wake of these wonderful sounding policies, you see disaster after disaster.
So when you see violence in the inner cities or in other communities, especially minority communities, and you're looking for a why, it's not just so we can point fingers and be like, this is why you messed it up. It's so we can prevent this in the future, or at least minimize this in the future. And do we have that discussion ever? When there was a block party that someone was spraying bullets into and 11 people got shot, what was that, 2-3 months ago? Did anyone ever look into any cultural issues? Anyone say, hey, was that person raised in a single-parent household? Was that person, are they a regular churchgoer? Were they at church on Sunday? Do we ever have that conversation? The guy that shot the cops last week, he murdered one of our neighbors last week. Anyone ask those questions? Anyone ask, where's his dad? What's that situation like? Was he in church? Because he was a religious guy, but it wasn't Christian. Anyone ask questions about that? No, just blame other people, blame socioeconomic factors. All we need is another program. Well, maybe if they just had free lunch in schools, or maybe if they had after-school program, maybe if they had 31 library locations, a life would be saved. No, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's not socioeconomic, it's cultural, and it's not going to get better until you start addressing some of those issues as well. All right, it's Labor Day. We're going to talk about that next, coming up with Scott Baradell. Polls show that 70% of Americans are in favor of labor unions. What's going on with that? We'll talk about it in 6 minutes on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
This is Ernie Brown sitting here with Jeff Jr. of Trajan Wealth. You've helped a lot of people determine how much to put into their 401k and what investments to put it into, but you mentioned a big mistake that most people make. What's that?
One of the biggest mistakes people make is leaving their 401k behind when they leave their job. And another big mistake is rolling it into your new 401k.
Really? Why is that?
By leaving it behind, you completely lose control. You never want to leave your money with an old employer. And if you roll it into a new 401k, you'll often have limited investment options and may incur costs to do so. Trajan Wealth can help complete the paperwork free of charge and do a tax-free rollover. We can then help invest it according to your exact retirement goals and not just what the employer's offering.
If you have an old 401k or one that you rolled over to a new employer, call Trajan Wealth today at 469-579-3500. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
Summer's racing in, and there's no better way to weather the heat than from within a luxurious, sophisticated, and, air-conditioned Lexus from Park Place, where you'll discover an incredible selection of the latest models with some of the best pricing of the season, like $3,500 lease bonus cash on the 2024 Lexus ES, IS, UX, and RX. You'll also find an award-winning Park Place ownership experience that sets a new bar for excellence. Experience the highest level of personal attention and sumptuous dealer amenities, plus the certified master technicians that keep your car running smoothly, and exceptional service worthy of a Lexus. Ready to take advantage of outstanding offers on the summer's hottest models without even breaking a sweat? Well, head to the experts in excellence at Park Place Lexus in Plano or Grapevine, or visit parkplace.com.
It's happening at pharmacies all across America. Older Americans keep asking, where are the lower prices on prescription drugs Joe Biden and Kamala Harris keep taking credit for? First, Harris cast the deciding vote for the Inflation Reduction Act, promising to lower drug prices. Then the Biden-Harris administration used the money from Medicare to bankroll their liberal green agenda. That's right. Instead of savings, seniors got a 20% premium increase, restrictions on access to medicine, and fewer cures. Now, liberals want to expand this Biden-Harris scheme that is already hurting seniors. Thankfully, Senator John Cornyn has always fought to protect Medicare drug coverage. Call him at 202-224-3121. Urge him to keep fighting for affordable drug coverage by opposing S-1246. Paid for by Seniors for Better Care.
If you've been injured in the Lone Star State, never go it alone. Not having an expert on your side can seriously hurt your chances of winning a Texas-sized settlement. The Wilhite Law Firm was awarded Best Law Firm in 2023. We know from experience that when you're in a serious accident, you seriously need the best attorney. Get your free case review at WilhiteWins.com. That's WilhiteWins.com. WilhiteWins.com. Don't delay. Click today.
Prior results do not guarantee similar outcomes.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus Media Station. Trending now.
The president reacts to the deaths of several hostages held in Gaza. I'm Eric Bushman from the Novak Motors News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
Spur 408 northbound at Keast Boulevard. 2 right lanes taken away because of a crash. You've also got a problem spot in Sanger still. I-35 southbound at Rector Road. That one's taken away the right lane, and it's got about a 45-minute backup behind it to Bells Road. Still one in Fort Worth. I-20 eastbound around the James Crowley exit. Looks like that one's taken away that right lane, so that's still slow on the approach. For WBAP's first traffic on the ones, I'm Monty Cook.
Why do so many Texans love Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? We're the #1 Chevy dealership in the world. New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox. Gotta visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023.
The WBAP forecast, chance of storms tonight, mostly cloudy with a low 74 degrees. It is currently 88 in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris met with U.S. negotiators in the Situation Room after Hamas killed 6 hostages over the weekend, including 1 American. Fox's Griff Jenkins reports from the White House.
The White House said Biden expressed how devastated and outraged he is over the murder of Hersh Goldberg Poland and the 5 other hostages, and was updated on continuing efforts to free the remaining hostages. Vice President Harris has yet to speak out publicly on the meeting, but released photos in that meeting and released a statement yesterday where she said this: I strongly condemn Hamas's continued brutality, and so must the entire world. As Vice President, I have no higher priority than the safety of American citizens wherever they are in the world. Now, all of this comes as Biden returned to the White House today for the first time since August 19th. He's since been vacationing in Southern California first, and then in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is pushing back against comments by President Biden, saying Israel's not doing enough to secure a ceasefire deal with Hamas. Your Money News, Ross Perot Jr. continues his efforts to build up the Alliance Texas corridor, Hillwood. According to UNT business expert Michael Savoy, Hillwood is the family's development arm that is now planning a new project.
And the next phase of their development as they move north up 35 is going to be Hunter Ranch. And Hunter Ranch is going to be Robeson Ranch Road, and then it'll head up north and reach almost to the Denton Regional Airport.
The 3,500-acre community will consist of upwards of 6,000 homes, apartments, and retail businesses that Savoy says will be developed over the next 10 to 15 years. Again, the low tonight, 74. It is 88 in Dallas, 87 in Fort Worth. Your next news update is at 5 o'clock. I'm Eric Bushman. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP for the latest on Decision 2024.
The new NFL season starts this Thursday up in Kansas City, but around here, all the talk is about that game Sunday in Cleveland, where the Browns host the Dallas Cowboys. From our Mullen & Mullen Law Firm Sports Desk, I'm Steve Lamb. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and his quarterback Dak Prescott are still trying to find middle ground on a contract extension. Things reportedly have become strained as both sides continue to speak on the matter publicly. So Prescott's agent, Todd France, and Stephen Jones just need to go in the room, lock the door, and get this deal done. It's Mariachi Monday at Globe Life Field for the Rangers-Yankees game. Although Texas doesn't need any kind of a promotion when New York comes to town, so many Yankee fans living here in North Texas, so they'll have a big crowd tonight, another one Tuesday and Wednesday, with the clock ticking on Texas as far as making the postseason. And unless the defending World Series champs get real hot and the AL West leading Astros cool off, Houston will win the division again. And at the Paralympic Games in Paris, Great Britain's Jody Grinham made history on Saturday when she took home the bronze in women's individual compound archery. Grinham did it while she's 7 months pregnant. That's your Monday afternoon sports update. I'm Steve Lamb.
Brought to you by Men's Edge Medical. Men, have you tried Cialis and Viagra and didn't like the way they made you feel? You're not alone. At Men's Edge Medical, they've helped thousands of Metroplex men perform better and last longer. Call Men's Edge today for a confidential appointment. 972-996-0900.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Blindster is a family-run business that began in 2010, and we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters and received over 100,000 five-star reviews. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
DFW's only FM news, talk, traffic, and weather station. News Talk 820, WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Happy Labor Day. You know, this is supposed to be a union holiday. Are you in a union? Were you ever in a union? Because I've never been in one, so all my information is secondhand, third hand. I've heard a lot of shady stories, but maybe I've just heard the shady stories. Maybe there's such thing as a great union. Do you have a good union story? Do you have a union horror story? Because, the closest I get, my dad was in a union growing up. He was a postal worker. So I got to kind of see what that was about and hear him sort of talk about it. But I didn't ask good questions because I was just a kid. But unions are more popular than ever. By the way, if you have a union horror story or good story or opinion, either way, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Scott Baradell's coming back on the James Show. A new poll shows that 70% of Americans are in favor of labor unions. I didn't know they were this popular, Scott.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think, of course, the big difference is in the 1960s, that's the last time unions were this popular, according to a Gallup poll they do every year. About 70% of Americans are pro-union, according to this poll. Of course, in the 60s, 30% of American workers were in unions. Today, it's less than 10%, so a lot has changed.
Oh, so now most of these people, they're not in a union. They probably aren't even union adjacent. They just like the idea of how a union sounds?
Yeah, because a lot of things have changed. One of the biggest changes has been there's been a party realignment. Currently, both parties, you could argue, are pro-union. I mean, the Democrats have introduced legislation to make it easier to organize unions. The Republicans, meanwhile, have said things like, we're going to bring back manufacturing jobs, and we're going to keep, undocumented people from crossing and taking your jobs. And those are all things that, in different ways, appeal to labor.
Historically speaking, haven't the Democrats been more pro-union than the Republicans?
Historically, yes, but that kind of changed in the big moment in terms of differentiating the two parties was in the early 1980s when Ronald Reagan, when the air traffic controllers declared a strike, he just fired them all because he said it was a national security issue, and he just kind of replaced all workers. That was a big moment in terms of the decline of union power. And in the 90s, under Clinton, you had NAFTA. And so that led to this globalization of jobs to where the kind of wages that unions had been negotiating were simply not competitive. Union shops would just go out of business if they're trying to compete with workers in Mexico or other parts of the world.
Well, that was always the concern. Like, hey, you can keep asking for more and more concessions, but eventually you're just going to cost yourself your job. Has anyone learned from that? And is there a whole lot of manufacturing base that's not unionized?
Well, I think for the most part, globally, that's certainly the case, and more of American manufacturing has moved to, say, the southern U.S. and other places where unions are less prominent. But we haven't found a solution to the loss of manufacturing jobs. I mean, Donald Trump has introduced the idea of having trade tariffs and other things that could protect higher wages here, but none of that has really come to fruition. And that's why you've seen things like Starbucks workers and Amazon workers trying to unionize. And I think seeing that in the news and the struggles a lot of people have in terms of their wages just not going up despite prices going up has led to a lot of frustration and the idea that unions could maybe be something that makes things better.
I generally am with the 30% of the country that's more skeptical, more negative on unions than I'm positive. I realize that somewhere some unions done some good things, but generally speaking, there's a reason why all these small business owners, medium-sized business owners, and big business owners, none of them like unions.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you go back to when this all started in the U.S. in the late 1800s. You had big businesses, railroads and oil companies, they would run roughshod over workers. Workers that protested their wages would actually they'd bring in what they called Pinkerton men, these thugs that would just actually kill workers in some cases. It was very ugly. And so there were important reasons why the labor union movement emerged to give labor some power to counter the power of these big companies that were emerging with the first industrialization in the U.S. But over time, you've seen that's led to abuse of power on the union side, and it's led increasingly to, companies just not being able to be very competitive when they're union shops.
All right, Scott Baradell, how do they find your work outside of WBAP?
IdeaGrove.com. That's IdeaGrove's the name of my agency, and you can find me there.
What does Idea Grove do?
We are a PR and marketing firm. We mostly work with B2B companies. We actually work with a lot of manufacturing companies.
All right, there he is. Scott Baradell, thanks for being on the James Show again.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, there's a couple of big recalls. One for your food, one for your truck. I'll tell you what you need to know coming up in 5 minutes on the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Walls done and told me it's now very cool to have tampons in the boys' room while you're hanging out at school.
As they're calling him, Tampon Tim.
Walls has developed a new nickname on X. They're calling him Tampon Tim.
Decision 2024.
News Talk 820 WBAP. And now new on FM at 93.3.
The fight for justice never ends. In Texas, there's only one name you need to know. Thomas J. Henry Law. We're one of the biggest personal injury firms in Texas with the money to fight for you. We invest in expert witnesses, investigators, and cutting-edge technology because the best evidence wins cases. And you only pay if we win. No upfront fees, no hidden costs. We give back to the communities we serve, from school supplies for tens of thousands of kids to food for families and pets. Thomas J. Henry. Visit us online at tjhlaw.com. San Antonio.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Remember, that's Cars with a K.
Is your retirement plan Medi-Ready? At DFW Retirement Planners, Medi-Ready means that you're ready to pay the lowest prices for prescriptions and out-of-pocket medical costs in retirement because you've signed up for Medicare correctly. You're Medi-Ready. Call us today and we'll help you get the most from your Medicare coverage. Regularly, we see our clients pay hundreds and even thousands less for prescriptions because they're Medi-Ready. And being prepared for a major medical procedure can mean savings of tens of thousands of dollars. Make sure that your plan for retirement is Medi-Ready. Call us today for a complimentary Medicare consultation. Call 888-7-PIGGY-BANK. That's 888-7-PIGGY-BANK. 888-7-PIGGY-BANK to make sure that you're Medi-Ready for retirement. This is a complimentary meeting. Call today. 888-7-PIGGY-BANK. DFW Retirement Planners. Your future is in our plan.
The hottest thing coming this summer will be the closeout sales at new car dealerships across Texas. For the first time in years, new car lots are overflowing with the most popular cars, trucks, and SUVs. Make this the summer to remember just how much you saved on your new car. Go to ntxad.com to find a dealer near you.
Mecum Auctions returns to the Dallas Convention Center September 4th through 7th with 1,500 muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, trucks, hot rods, customs, and more. Bidder registration and spectator tickets at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
Problem spot that we had making your way along I-30 westbound around 635. That one did clear out, but it is still pretty slow as you make your way through that area. Spur 408 northbound, Grady Niblo up to Keast Boulevard. The freeway is now shut down because of the wreck there. I-35 southbound at Rector Road in Sanger. It looks like they were getting one off to the shoulder. Still about a 25 or 30-minute backup to Bells Road. And I-20 eastbound at the James Crowley exit. That one's closing off that right lane. With WBAP's First Traffic, I'm Monty Cook.
Brought to you by All Pro Foundation Repair. Separation from the soil, sheetrock cracks, or sticking doors, those are signs of foundation problems, and they don't get better on their own. So call the pros at All Pro Foundation Repair today at 877-MEAN-GREEN.
All Pro Foundation Repair, the right solution for your home.
From the Airco AC Heating and Plumbing Studio, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, happy Labor Day. It's the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. If you got any Labor Day horror stories, union stories, period, things I would think was funny, you got one segment to get it in, you better call right now, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Ford has a big recall they just announced 2 days ago. Over 90,000 vehicles, and it's apparently a pretty big deal that if some intake valve breaks, it could be a big issue if that happens while you're on the road. So it's just from the last couple of years, 2021, 2022 models, Broncos, F-150, Edge, Explorer, Lincoln Nautilus, Lincoln Aviator, in the 2.7 or 3.0 liter engine. Luckily, I haven't been financially successful in life, so my car is only a 2016, so I don't have to worry about such issues. Dodged a bullet there. But these little recalls, I want you to remember these, because we're going to have another James Show in the future where I'm going to say we need to deregulate some sort of sector of the economy. And someone's going to say, or you may even think, and not call in and say, or someone's going to send me a Facebook message and be like, well, what are we going to let them do? Just make dangerous cars that could just break and kill us, or just give us food that makes us sick? What would we do without the regulators? Oh, glad you brought that up. Did you see the Boar's Head recall where they recalled a whole bunch of like sausage and other meat products? It's a listeria outbreak. It turns out sounds nasty. It's like a listeria Six Flags in some of their plants. And the point is that we have both of these recalls, both in food and in mechanical products that are regulated to the gills. You know how much time, effort, resources both of these companies have to put into regulation? And what happened? Still happened. Still had food that made you sick. Still had mechanical issues coming off of some, produced assembly line product. We live in a human experiment where humans have their hands in every point along the way. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be failures. But make no mistake about it. Ford and Boar's Head have a built-in incentive to not kill their customers. Free market capitalism doesn't let companies kill their customers. Having these things deregulated won't open the door so they can kill their customers. What you're looking for is accountability. What you're looking for is safety. But you can still get that in the free market because like the FDA. The FDA let all this stuff go through. Are they going to get fined? Is there going to be any investigation to them? How did you let all this listeria on the market? And if they come back and they say, well, we can't test everything that comes out of every factory. And well, okay, so you can't come up with a reasonable way to test meat so you're sure that it's safe when it goes to the store. No? Okay, then what's the point of view then? You just show up after an outbreak's already happened and be like, look at these guys acting bad. They're going to have to pay us a ton of money. Because now you set up a perverse incentive structure to where the FDA almost wants you to get sick because they can what? Fine all these companies millions, if not billions of dollars. That's good for business if you're in the FDA. If that's where you're funded, who gets to keep that money? Do you get a cut of that money? And the poor Boar's Head or Ford, they still have to bear the cost. Boar's Head has to kill millions of dollars worth of revenue by throwing out possibly tainted meat. Ford has to at least offer to fix 90,000 cars. This is going to be a money-losing endeavor. Now, when you put that in there, what does that mean? That means the profit motive also gives these companies a built-in incentive to not kill their customers, not harm their customers, don't make them sick, don't make their car blow up when it's just riding down the road. Even if you look at just the profit motive, they have a built-in incentive. What's the FDA add to that? What, it makes it even more illegaler? I think of the BP oil spill. Happened like 13 years ago. Hey, how's the Gulf doing? Just fine. Just fine. But when people say, well, if you deregulate the oil industry, then oil companies will be able to just poke holes in the ocean floor and let it spill out. And really? Was that profitable for BP? Did they make a profit on that? Don't they have a built-in incentive? Didn't they lose billions and billions of dollars cleaning that mess up? Yeah, they did. They have a built-in incentive to not do it. And so we're going to have example after example after example, but it's not going to happen at the perfect time of the perfect day when I'm having the future show where this comes up. And I'm telling some guy that we don't need all of these regulations. We don't need nanny state government micromanaging over all of us. It's just a clear, naked power grab by the politicians that gives them a sphere of influence that they can turn around and sell off to a lobbyist. How much money does the FDA spend on lobbying every year? How much money does the FDA get to control by telling a company, yes, you can release this drug this year, or you have to spend another $300 million on another set of stage 4 clinical trials or whatever they were saying about the MDMA ruling a couple weeks ago. So that for the inspectors at the FDA that this got through, are they going to be sued? They're going to be charged with anything? No. Just want you to remember that, because this will come up again. These issues will always continue to come up. And I'm not saying deregulation's a panacea. I'm not saying that if you get rid of it, your food will be safer. It'll probably be about the same. It might be marginally safer. It might be marginally less safe. It'll be about the same. There will still be mistakes. I'm not promising utopia. You know what you should do? If you buy sausage from Boar's Head or any other company, here's an idea. Cook it all the way. That's all you got to do. If you're worried about your Ford truck or your Lincoln Aviator, whatever, popping a valve when you're driving down the road, go get it fixed. Ford would probably have to do that anyway. You know, there's still class action lawsuits. There's still lawyers out there who will bring a company to heel if they misbehave and hurt somebody. You don't need an additional agency on top of that system to double down on it. Doesn't help. Something else I'm watching, and I'll probably bring you more information on this tomorrow, on tomorrow's show. Our Attorney General, Ken Paxton, he's catching a lot of heat for his work here about illegal voting. I pulled a little bit of a clip of him with Glenn Beck just to set the table for tomorrow's show. But you got to hear about this, because you're going to be hearing about it in the news, and it's not going to be the straight story.
That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to communicate to as many people as I can. I hope other states will follow. That there's a price to pay. It's illegal to vote illegally. I mean, there are a lot of people. They were brought in on day one. Joe Biden announced that he wasn't going to deport people. Why would he announce that on day one? Why is that the most important thing that he has to announce on his first day of his administration? Is because this was the plan. Tell the cartels to get people here as fast as possible, as many as possible. We're not going to make them hide anymore. They don't have to run from Border Patrol. They get to come to Border Patrol, be placed in the right states, moved around, taken care of. So what? What do they get? Why was this such an important initiative from the Biden administration? Because they wanted their vote. They want to fix the election so that we have a one-party country that we can't fix. So the message from me is, you know what? You may think you're going to get away with this, but we can still prosecute you for illegal voting. And if you participate in a scheme to encourage people to illegal vote, you can go to jail in Texas for a long time. All
right. We will continue this topic tomorrow. I've been doing a little bit of digging because I didn't like what I was reading over the weekend. Whenever I hear a whole bunch of people pull up the link to this story, paste it, and be like, can you believe the evil Republicans in Texas are arresting their political opponents and charging them with paperwork crimes? It's like, oh, that's bad now? Because that's what we've been watching you do for the last year and a half with Trump and Steve Bannon and Paul Manafort and all kinds of other guys. Oh, that's bad again. That's interesting. He must really be onto something if you're complaining that much. So look for that on tomorrow's show. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. We'll come back and we'll have a completely normal show tomorrow. Stick around. Mark Levin's coming up next. And if you need more of The James Show, find The James Show podcast, WBAP.com and the WBAP app. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof